Hi everybody, welcome to Paragade Oops All Anime, where we take a break from anime and our cat to talk about video games because, for this, there was a recording of me and Brandon talking about Death Note.
Like you were supposed to be listening to that.
Like you were supposed to be listening to that, except, that fucked up, and, well, the good news is, the next episode that is going to be covering Death Note, it's going to be jam-packed of 6 episodes of Death Note, where I will go ahead and slowly lose my sanity, and just sit down with a nice old cup of hot cocoa infused with whiskey as I just prattle on into the night about how much I hate Light Yagami and how much I love the new 2 bastard gremlin children, Mir and Mello. This time, however, for this segment, I am joined by Mael.
Hello.
Hi. So, what are we drinking today?
Well, you're drinking beer.
Yes, I'm drinking the Spiff.
This spiff.
Yeah.
It's Goose Island's rosé looking. I can't remember what this is. It's a juicy.
Yeah.
It's an ale with natural passion fruit flavor.
So, I did drink this before on the podcast with Bran, and I kind of described it as like an alcoholic tea.
It is. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I bought it on a whim, and it turns out it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking a Sauvignon Blanc because, you know, I also drink all kinds of alcohol. Sometimes my alcohol is white.
You know?
Like myself.
So, unlike in our Geass segment, where we usually save this till last, we're flip-flopping it again.
Yeah. Just because, why not?
Yeah. Because
everything's fucked. Let's go for it.
Well, yeah, that and our main topic is just going to be, like, the release schedule, like, from August forward.
Yeah.
And how much our wallets are going to be screaming in pain from every fucking video game we're going to be buying.
Yep.
So,
Who needs money? Who needs money to pay the bills?
Yeah, who needs that?
Ridiculous.
What have you been up to in the past couple weeks or week or whatever?
Dying.
Yeah.
But when I'm not dying, I'm sleeping. And when I'm doing neither of those things and not cooking, I've been playing Little Dragon Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Which is, it's just I've just been wanting to scratch a little itch. It's just a really cute game. I think I mentioned it on the podcast before.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've been replaying it. It's fun. It's still cute. It's still a dumb little, childish little game where you play as a kid whose mom has fallen asleep and can't wake up.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it now.
Yeah, that, and, you get a dragon, and you feed the dragon, you feed people at your restaurant, and you go collect items. That's literally all it is. And, like, I don't know, it works. It's cute. And the other thing I'm gonna say as currently playing, because I was technically playing it a little bit just now.
Yeah.
But I am going to immediately dive back into it as soon as possible. Is Rune Factory 4.
Ah, yes.
Rune Factory 4, for anyone that doesn't know, secretly I just love these Rune Factory games. This
Secretly?
is all like, it doesn't come up often in conversation.
That's true, yeah.
But, it's basically the Harvest Moon's fantasy version.
Yeah.
And I've been playing them since Rune Factory 1, and I've been addicted and hooked, and I love them to pieces. And Rune Factory 4 is, like, one of my favorite games of all time. It is, like, the best part about the Rune Factory series is that they have literally only gotten better with age. Like, they've only gotten better as the series goes on. Basically, it goes from, like, Rune Factory 1 is pretty basic, and then Rune Factory 2 did a little bit more, and then 3 did a little bit more, and 4 did a little bit more, and there is a 5 coming out. Oh my god, I thought that it was never going to happen because
And then here Nintendo came from the heavens.
Nintendo came from the heavens and delivered to us Rune Factory 4 Special, which is coming out very, very soon. It's out in Japan right now.
Yeah.
And Rune Factory 5 to be determined because there were 10 of us who asked for it.
Like, you were very adamant about it.
We were very audible about how beautiful the series was. Basically, anyone who doesn't know about the Harvest Moon series, you'd probably you'd probably be mistaken to think it's still going, like, so why were you, like, worried that it wasn't coming back? Well, because Harvest Moon technically is kind of no more-ish. There was a weird split in the Japanese company, and the creator of Harvest Moon no longer works for the same studio, and that studio is chugging along, putting out really shitty spin-offs of Harvest Moon that are not made by the same person. They're, like, more mobile game-ish now.
It's like kind of how, well, not really how, it's like Konami tried this, where they tried to push out one more Metal Gear Solid after Hideo left.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, nope.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Survive is garbage.
Yeah.
The new Harvest Moon games are garbage. Now there's Story of Seasons, which is actually Harvest Moon. And this kind of just left, like, Rune Factory, long story short, in limbo.
Right.
Until
very recently.
Until very recently, when Nintendo announced that it was coming back, and I screamed. Audibly. Very loud.
I can imagine, yeah.
I did.
This was, like, in March, like, the March Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I died. I died and went to heaven. And so I am debating right now whether or not I want to buy the Japanese release of Rune Factory 4 Special, because it's out right now, and I could play it right now, and I know exactly what happens in the game. I could totally play it with Japanese.
They didn't add anything for, like, the special version, like any new routes or anything like
There
that?
are technically a few new story options.
Okay.
There's a few new story things going on, but for the most part, it's the same game.
Okay.
Which is all I wanted. Give me more of the same, please.
You know?
And they recently, like, as of this week, put out the teaser trailer for Rune Factory 5.
Yes, they did.
And we got to see the silhouettes of the main protagonists, and we got to see some of our new favorite monsters coming back, like the Woolies, and I'm so happy, okay? I'm, like, so stoked. I'm so stoked. Oh my god.
You know?
More of the same. Ram it into my blood vessels like cocaine.
Just give me
that's
this.
That's not cocaine. You don't put it.
No.
Heroin. There you go. We got there.
You do a drug.
I do a drug. Did you know? If you do one drug, you will get AIDS and you will die. I learned it from experience. I have died. Anyway, that's been my rant about games. That's recent.
That's been your sort of recent and / future sort of.
Yes.
So for me, I talked about this in the forgotten recording, but there were 2 games that I've been playing recently. One I've kind of fallen off of because it's cool, but it requires me to turn on my PC, which I hate doing.
Fuck that shit.
I really don't want to unless I gotta actually record a podcast. But I was playing Hardcore Mecha. So it's this little side-scroller game made by a Chinese studio. They were kickstarted like a long, long time ago. I forget when they were under the name Code Hardcore. Except because it's a Chinese studio, English is not their first language. They realized very, very quickly that English speakers are fucking garbage, and they, of course, people just made a lot of fun of like Code Hardcore.
Sounds like a BDSM thing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So instead, they were like Hardcore Mecha because that's what it is. It's just Gundam.
It's porn, but Gundam. Sorry, wait.
So it's a neat like side-scroller game, kind of like I think it's a Metal Warrior for the NES, where you can jump in and out of your mech. And all the mech designs are obviously inspired by like a lot of not notorious, but a lot of well-known mecha anime. So like your main suit is basically the Gundam. It's the stereotypical like this is the protagonist mecha. So it's like it's the
good one.
It's the Arbalest. It's the Wing Gundam. It's the GPO-1. You know, it's that. It's the fucking prototype. And then like one of your sort of antagonist, but really the rival. He pilots basically a super robot that looks like the Getter Robo from like Go Nagai's manga.
Yeah.
And it's just like a punchy boy.
It's just punchy, cool looking boy.
And it does Rockito Punch!
Absolutely. And it's just It's so funny because it's like color coded too.
Yeah. So like all the characters are also color coded. So like the main character's blue, the rival's red,
their Gundams are the same color as them.
Yeah,
and then like your friend who did he still tragically die?
He's still dead.
He died tragically, but he was the yellow one. You know how it is.
And
it's just so tropey.
It's so tropey. It knows what it is, though, which is good. And I don't really fault it for that. But the other thing about it is that despite kind of like, I guess getting a little bit of backing, the English translation is rough. Like, really,
oh, yeah.
It can get real rough sometimes. Like, I am feeling the disdain. And it's just like, okay.
Okay, but I too am feeling the disdain.
It can get a little bit bad sometimes, but otherwise, I mean, it's earnest. It's really cool. I was really excited to see this. Also, part of the Kickstarter, they were like, oh, hey, like, you can get a model of, like, the main mobile suit. I'm sorry, not the main mobile suit, the main mech. And, it looks cool. It costs $200 if you don't get it with the Kickstarter thing, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's a neat little thing. It scratches my itch for like a neat mecha thing until later. But aside from that scratching an itch, I've also been playing Dragon Quest Builders 2, which I've now decided.
God, yeah.
I've now decided that the opening for this particular episode is just going to be the Dragon Quest theme.
Basically.
Anyway, so Dragon Quest Builders 2, is a Minecraft clone.
It's just Minecraft, but what if anime?
What if directed by Akira Toriyama? And
Yep.
I am just like, yes, please, give it to me.
Put this garbage in my gob.
I don't play that many crafting games, but when I do, I get hooked on it for at least a month. Because...
Yeah, and then you'll, like, go back to it, like, after this month, like... Every few months for the next, 20 years.
Yeah, and, because Starbound was that for me, where I spent, a good solid, probably 2 to 3 months on it.
And then you just kept on coming back to it every once in a while.
Yeah.
When a new patch came out, you were like, fuck me up!
Yeah, fuck me up. So, it's really neat. The story is you're a builder who winds up on, the Isle of Awakening, and you meet your new boyfriend, Malroth, who looks like just a... who looks like just a tiny version of Vegeta.
Yeah.
And he's really cute, and you meet...
He's so cute.
He's so cute. And he's just like, I'm only good at destroying things, so I will just fight monsters for you while you go ahead and focus on building. I'm like, thanks, boo.
Which, by the way, if you play Dragon Quest II, the name Malroth is very familiar.
Yes, because, spoiler alert, it is the final boss of Dragon Quest II, the God of Destruction, and that's the reason why he cannot create shit, because all he knows is how to fight.
Yeah, I love all of, the Dragon Quest fandom reacting to this character.
Yeah.
Is I love him. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. They're everyone's hoping please tell me he's not evil because I love him too much.
He's so good. He's so good.
It's some of the other fans were like, yes, I see exactly where this is going.
Yes,
put it in my gob right now.
Just do it. And the thing that I feel is the only thing holding this particular thing back. One, I'm playing on Switch, which performance issues out the ass.
Oh, yeah, I remember playing it a little bit when it was raining in the game, and the frame rate when it rains drops down to 10 frames per second to 2 sometimes, and I got dizzy.
So I downloaded some other person's island so I could just see what it was like because it looked really cool. It was a big sprawling city. Turns out if you put too much shit in one place, the game just slows to 2 frames. And it's garbage. It doesn't matter if you're in docked or undocked. It's just bad.
Yeah.
So it's keep... if you're buying the Switch version instead of the PS4 version, which most people probably are because it's...
Switch.
It's a Switch. Just don't navigate to any of those really purely dense areas, and you should be fine. But also, Square, release a patch. Make this game better, please.
Yeah, it is to the point that if you're playing the game and you look away, you will get whiplash. It's it was, I felt a little bit queasy after playing for, like, what? Like, how long was I playing for? Like, 20 minutes?
Like, 20 minutes, and I know for me, because I'm acclimated to the garbage era of PS3 games, where, like, I played all the Mass Effect ports to the PS3, and those ran like trash. So I am very well accustomed to when games just go down to 2 frames a second, and I'm just like, alright, it's doing this again.
Guess you're here now.
I guess I'm here. So, yeah, I would say if this sounds like your thing, and you have a PS4 instead of a Switch, get the PS4 version.
And if you want to take it on the go, and you're okay with the frame rate issues, go for it.
Yeah, just...
If you have an issue with frame rate issues, though, stay away from the Switch version.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always going to be like a sort of like, what's the word? Like a caveat for any Switch version of a game.
Absolutely.
Where it's just going to be like, hey, you want a Switch port, but you... Listen, don't expect 60 frames per second. And I don't care. It's just that there are times where it's like, it's unnoticeable because... Listen, I don't know anything higher than 24 frames per second, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are times like this where I literally can't... Like, it's like wading through mud to play this game sometimes.
It was vomit comet.
It's bad. So, yeah, let's go ahead and shift gears to our main topic here, which is upcoming video games, starting from August onward, and then we'll talk about like far off future games for a little bit.
Yeah, if you're familiar with games currently, you probably know that through the end of 2019 and into 2020, there are a lot of good games out.
Oh yeah,
there are a lot of good games that are on the way, and everyone is hype. 2019 is the year of game. We started strong with Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's only been going uphill, man.
God, you know it's bad when you know there's been this pervasive feeling of, like, good games, but you can't name them all right now.
Yeah, and you are dreading what your wallet's gonna look like by the end of the year.
I don't like this. Oh.
So, I think it's best to, since we just talked about a game that also has already just come out this month, I think we should talk about a game that is literally just come out.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Definitely not Hogwarts. What are you talking about?
So, when I first saw this game, I had that exact reaction. It's like, okay, it's a Fire Emblem game. It's like, I mean, if you played Fates and if you played Awakening and that was your jam... Cool, I'm happy.
This will be your jam.
Except, no, it's not.
Really?
Like, it is, like, from what I've heard about this, and from what I've read about this game, is that, like, it kind of dumps a lot of the things that, like, people, not necessarily liked, but were more frustrated by with Fire Emblem, like, Fates and Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, it does away with the weapon triangle. It also allows a lot more for, like, user-friendliness. Like, you're able to see how an enemy is going to act. You're able to see who they're targeting and things like this. Like, they're not necessarily getting rid of it to make it more difficult. They're getting rid of it because they realize it became stale. And then the other thing that they also kind of done away with is shipping your entire units together. Because they're like, that's creepy and weird. We should stop that. And what they replaced that with is like, hey, you can go ahead and make relationships with a lot of your students because you're playing as a professor, basically. Which I think that's also part of the reason why they got rid of the relationship stuff, because that's a whole can of worms they don't want to unpack. But
I still feel like if you're a Kingdom Hearts nerd, or not Kingdom Hearts, if you're a Fire Emblem nerd, this is still going to be your jam.
Oh no.
I think for me, like, as someone who already has a love-hate relationship with Fire Emblem, not my jam. And also, too, like, they got rid of, like, the triangle. Like, what the fuck?
So, the other thing that they, have done is, along with the sort of user-friendliness, there's a narrative device where it allows you to redo turns, and it allows you to do it 3 times per battle. So, you can turn back the clock after your favorite boy just, like, bit the dust.
Bit the dust for no goddamn reason.
For no goddamn reason. You're like, well, and it allows you to go back in time, and basically he's like, what the fuck happened? And you're like, you're okay, buddy. But the other thing that they do, and I guess kind of a spoiler alert, I think this has been kind of advertised, there's a time skip. And you go from, like, you know, sort of like a nationally, like, united university to fractured. So all of a sudden, those people, like, you are making a relationship with might be on the other end of your sword later. And I think the dialogue also changes depending on how close you were. So you get these truly tragic scenarios that's fucking my shit. I'm just like, oh, fuck. And I wasn't interested in it before. I'm very interested in it now.
Yeah, I just, again, I think I've described this before. I do have a love-hate relationship with Fire Emblem. I don't think I've never technically completed all of Sacred Stone. And part of that is, yes, because, there are some of those campaigns where you just, your character bites the dust no matter what you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how perfectly you plan out your strategy, you will suffer.
Yeah.
And you have to restart countless times. And I know that that's kind of not the case anymore with Fire Emblem, but, like, that was what I did actually kind of like about Fire Emblem. So now I'm here, like, I don't even know. This is not the same game as when I first played it. And I don't know what to do with all this new shit now.
I'm pretty sure that you can also just go ahead and go back to classic mode because, of course, Fire Emblem would still allow for that.
Yeah.
But it's just that I feel like a lot of things that they're implementing here is, one, to bring a lot of people in, also to write a lot of, like, these sort of, like, current conceptions of, like, not misconceptions, just, like, plain fact. Like, this is what Fire Emblem was. And just be like, hey, listen, we understand that, like, the weird, like, shipping your, like, units together, that's weird. Probably should stop doing that. And also, we don't want to be the lolly game anymore.
The lolly game.
We don't want to be that anymore.
Yeah, Fates was definitely the lolly game.
It's bad. So I'm glad that they've kind of done away with that, at least for Three Houses, because now they can just put that in Heroes instead. So I think that should do it for, like, Fire Emblem. So yeah.
Yeah, so what's next on the list? Do we want to talk about Wolfenstein Youngblood?
That game has not been reviewing well. I don't know why. It's probably because it seems like the bastard child of the Wolfenstein series.
You know, sometimes long-running games like Wolfenstein will have those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that also just came out. But let's go into August, shall we?
Yes.
The main one, there's plenty that are coming out in August, but the main one we're going to talk about, because, again, we are Nintendo stans, is Astral Chain.
So, this is one of the latest Platinum games to come out, and it's like JoJo's Bizarre Cop Force, where you go ahead and you basically get, I forget what they're called. We'll just call them stands. You just get a stand, and you're able to collect stands. And
they're basically stands.
Yeah, they're basically stands, and they do, like, different things. The plot is, like, they're demons or whatever that humanity's trying to control, and, you know, there's some big old, like, conspiracy about, like, whether or not it's a good thing to do, and blah, blah, blah. And it looks like the typical anime bullshit. I just don't feel comfortable playing as a cop anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things, is, like, you play as, like,
a police officer, yeah.
Police officer of, like, there's two of them, and, like...
You could either be the boy or the girl.
Yeah, they're cute anime, like, they're very, like, Nier Automata looking, like,
yeah.
cute characters, and you're just like, ooh, I love this shit. But also, why they cops? And I just feel like this is very Japanese, because, like, this is an issue that's about us and our relationship to police force right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I think both of us will be very interested to see how the reviews play out and see kind of how the game might or might not tackle issues of current day politics. Probably not going to tackle them, but it'd still be interesting to see how the reviews play out, especially on the American audience side.
And, I mean, the art style looks cool. It's like a comic book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this looks so rad. And you can also change the colors of your stands and I think your armor to reflect, like, different, like, sort of iconic things. One of them they showed in, like, a recent demo was basically designed after Ava Unit 1. And I was like, oh, okay, that's topical. So, it's cool. The other highlight I want to give to August before we move on, because that's, like, late, that is late August. But the other one I want to talk about is the mobile game.
Yes.
Yes. Let's go ahead and talk about Gundam Battle, Gunpla Assault here.
The mobile game that takes all of Joe's money.
Oh, God. So I've been following it a little bit more closely since now I follow the Instagram, and it's just like Instagram's algorithms is like, you just want this specific thing to be advertised to you all the time. It's
and you're like, you are correct, sir.
You're correct. This is the one time the algorithm's been right so far. And it looks... it looks so stupid. It looks so stupid. It looks so, like, predatory for people like me specifically. Because you can't just get Gundam kits. No. You gotta play the gacha system and get a plastic arm or a plastic leg or a plastic head. And I'm just like, this is garbage. I'm going to be playing this so much.
This is garbage. Take all of my money.
I hate it. And... the characters look cool. Like, the whole conceit is like, the plot of Gundam Build Fighters Try, where you're playing in, like, a Gunpla club that's about to get shut down, and, like, well, we need to show them that, you know, we can still win a championship, guys, and it's just like, alright, cool. And, you know, the anime intro just, like, showed all the characters. It also showed, for the first time in, like, a Gundam build thing, fucking Iron Blood Orphans in it.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just like, give it to me! Just give it to me!
As an Iron-Blooded Orphan stan.
Oh, God, I need it. And, outside of that, though, they are now also doing, like, Gundam Build Fighters, or Gundam Build Divers, like, Redive or something like that, or, I don't know. But point is, like, I think that this mobile game will probably tie in it with, like, maybe a little bit, or maybe it'll just be, you know, Gundam Breaker, revitalization, because that's the other thing about it. In Japan, it's called Gundam Breaker Mobile.
Gundam Build Breaker Mobile.
Well, the thing is that we had Gundam Breaker here in the stateside, new Gundam Breaker. That salted the earth really quickly, because it was a garbage game, even for, like, Japanese audience who is perfectly okay with, like, the Super Robot Wars series, which is a passable SRPG series. You just play it because the animations are fucking rad and you really want to see Domo Kashu, like, talk with Spike Spiegel. Like, that's
all you want.
That's all you want. And I'm just like, you know, alright. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's cool. I can't wait to play it. I really can't.
And watch all of your money go right down the drain as you get the second right limb of the RX-78 in a row. Because that's all you're going to get is, like, RX-78. Like,
no, you're going to get Jim. You're not even going to get the RX-78. You're just going to get more Jims.
You're going to get, like, the same right arm of the Jim. It's just going to be... Because that's the thing, is that if they only give you bits and pieces, you're only ever going to get, like, one arm at a time, and so you might get two right arms in a row, and you're like, I don't even have a full kit.
I think it doesn't do, like, per arm. It does, like, do set of arms.
Okay, well, that's good.
That's better.
That is better.
It's not great, but it's better. So, God, let's go ahead.
So, where are we now? I think we're going into September.
Yeah,
yes?
So, let's go ahead and take a look here. Oh, fuck, Mech Warrior is coming out?
Yeah, Mech Warrior 5 is coming out. There's plenty of other games. There's, like, Gears 5, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, here's the other mech game.
Yeah, but the real one that at least Joe's excited for, and is his entire shit, is Daemon X Machina.
So, I played the demo. The demo was very much Armored Core 4, and after that they were like, we listened to your feedback, we're going to go ahead and do a lot of things like differently, and they showcased this in E3. The game looks rad. I'm just like, fuck me up with this, please. It's... They got the same voice actors who do, like, Amuro and Char to voice 2 characters.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's just, what if Armored Core 6... but we can't call it Armored Core 6.
Yeah, we can't call it Armored Core 6, and also we can't call it Gundam.
So, it looks neat. The performance, like, when I was playing it on Switch was not bad. Like, not as nearly as bad as I was describing, like, Dragon Quest Builders. So, it seems like they know what they're doing.
In fact, after the beta, they took a lot of the feedback, and they even put out a video about all the things that they changed.
Yes.
Based on the feedback, which I thought was awesome. Not only were they actually taking the feedback and, like, changing a lot of mechanics to make them more streamlined according to what ended up just being too clunky, they also, like, put out whole videos showing, like, the side-by-side comparison to show, like, you know, they wanted to communicate that with their fans, that, like, we heard you, we totally get it, like, we want to make this an enjoyable game for you. I think this is just, like, even as someone who's not a Gundam, like, or, like, a mech fan, like, seeing this, it's, like, it does show a lot of faith in just kind of how these developers, this is their passion project.
Oh, yes.
You can really tell by the way that they respond to the beta, by the way that they're putting out videos, that, like, they truly are just, like, they want to make a good game for other mech fans.
Yeah, and
that's their prerogative, a mech game made by mech fans for mech fans.
And it's cool. They still haven't announced that they're bringing the special edition to the States, and normally I don't really care unless it's a baby in a bottle, but like, the special edition for Daemon X Machina, of course, they knew what the fuck they were doing. They're like, we're gonna put a model of the Arsenal, like the fucking mech in this game. And I'm like, give it to me! Give me the stupid mech!
I want the model kit.
I want the model kit!
Yeah, again, and, like, the fact that the special edition is literally just, like, a gunpla.
Yeah.
Like, it really shows, again, that these are developers who love mech games and all things mecha, making a game for fans of all things mecha. Like, it's every bit like Armored Core, Gundam, and the fact, like, again, like, they responded to the beta, and they have, like, voice actors for Amuro and Char, like, in the game. Again, just, it's made by fans for fans. That's all it is.
It is. So I'm excited. I can't wait. Even if they don't bring the special edition stateside, like, I don't care. I'm gonna be buying this game, like, day one. The beta was cool. The shit that they implemented from the beta looks even better.
Yeah, and you'll probably buy, like, an
aftermarket.
Yeah, aftermarket online eBay of the model kit.
Yeah, I will. So yeah, that's Daemon X Machina. There's one other game in September here. Let's see.
Can I talk about Link's Awakening? I've been dying to talk about Link's Awakening.
You can sure talk about Link's Awakening.
So, Link's Awakening is an awesome old game of, you know, that I actually played the DX version of it when it came out on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
But yeah, the original Game Boy Link's Awakening is such a good game. It is kind of like, it is the blueprint for all 2D Zelda games moving forward.
Yeah.
Even down to, like, the, like, general style and, like, the map layout and everything. It's like, if you like a lot of, like, 2D adventure games, it is the prototype to it. Even more so than Link to the Past. And it's just got, like, some really cool themes and some really awesome, like, characters. And they decided to make a remake of it in the cutest fucking style ever. Like, it looks like little, like, toy soldiers kind of, like, style.
It does.
I love it.
I loved, during their E3 booth there, they had a bunch of dioramas of the Link's Awakening, like, you know, just sort of scenes and stuff.
Yeah, like, so they took, because, like I said, it looks like little toy soldiers or just, like, little toys and trinkets. So they took that and they made that real life, and so there's a whole diorama, and so there's all, like, different parts of the map, and, like, the chain chomp that exists in the game, and Link. And apparently everyone at Nintendo were arguing and, like, competing and, like, trying to figure out, like, who gets to take home which parts of the diorama at the end of E3. Apparently that was, like, a hilarious thing. And, like, same.
Same, though.
Big mood.
Yeah.
You know, if they sold a tile of that, like, you know, diorama, it would go up for on eBay like $10,000 kind of thing.
Oh my god, if they put out, like, say, like, the little chain chomp, like, that would just be it, bud.
Oh, that would be it. Yeah, so, you know, everyone that it works at Nintendo was excited to just have Link's Awakening again. And, you know, I think that there's plenty of people out there that are just like, well, I don't understand, like, it's the same game, but it's got a weird style to it. No, it's like, it's a great way to reintroduce classic games to, I mean, a larger audience.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people out there, even big gaming fans nowadays, who never played the original, never played DX either. And so to bring it back and put it in a style that is charming and adorable, it's like, it's great. And also there's like new features of the game and whatnot. There's like randomly generated islands, and like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they have like a sort of Mario Maker-esque type thing where you go to like a Dobby and you're just like, here's
make a dungeon.
Yeah, make a dungeon. Here's a couple pieces I got from the previous dungeon. He's like, okay. And you're able to go ahead and do that, which that seems really interesting and cool. And like you said, the fact that they're reintroducing this to a bunch of people who have never experienced this game, because Link's Awakening is such a good fucking game, and it does a lot of things that are different from even like Zelda's at that time. It was very experimental. It's very weird.
Yeah, it was experimental and weird, and it turns out that was what worked for Zelda games. If you know anything about, especially even current day Zelda is kind of about like doing some of the same things, but being weird and experimental. That's what all Zelda games have been. When people talk about the fact that Breath of the Wild is too different for a Zelda game, I'm like, bruh, all Zelda is taking the same exact story and putting new mechanical spins on it, new like theme spins on it. That's what they do. That's how Zelda be. And Link's Awakening is the blueprint for that.
And it's so weird because, I mean, this is coming off of an age where we saw like this sort of like same formula of like a Zelda gameplay for like almost 10 years, where it was like after, you know, Ocarina of Time, we basically saw that same sort of 3D model of Zelda for like a long ass time until Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And these same people who are like, I needed something different, and they see Breath of the Wild, they're like, too different. And it's
too different, yeah. And that's the thing, is like, you know, all Zelda games have been doing weird variations of the same thing.
Yeah. And it's cool, and I think with Link's Awakening, with the new Link's Awakening, I really just can't wait to see, like, a lot of these screenshots of this game, because it looks like a gorgeous fucking game.
It just looks so cute.
It's so...
It looks so cute. Like, that, like, we cannot articulate how cute it is. And it was like so wild to see like people talking about it like, I hate the new art style. I'm like, how can you hate pure unbridled joy? Like, it's literally
it's such a joyous style.
It's such a joyous, adorable style, and it also makes thematic sense. I don't believe in spoilers for a game that's existed for 20 years. Like, I feel the same way about the Final Fantasy VII remake, but should I not delve into spoilers right now for this?
Well, I feel like, because Final Fantasy VII is, like, a different thing, where it was sort of a landmark, like, cultural moment in video games.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening, it was a good game, don't get me wrong. I also don't consider, like, the ending of that game to be a cultural impact that everybody would know.
Okay, so I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
But I think that thematically the very cutesy, unrealistic style of, like, literally the polar opposite of realistic makes thematic sense for Link's Awakening.
Definitely. And yeah, I feel like that's a good way to also just kind of, like, differentiate if, like, something, like, if we spoil something, it's like Darth Vader being Luke's father, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that because that was a big fucking deal.
I guess so. I don't think that the ending to Link's Awakening is that spoilery. Like, I don't think it should be a spoiler.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is, but...
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Like, okay, I'm giving you, if you want to skip this, like, go to the next 30 seconds. Link's in a dream.
Ah.
There it is. It's in the name. It's Link's Awakening.
Anyway.
So yes, I think the dream, like themes, it works. Alright.
So, going back to Akira Toriyama, let's go ahead and talk about Dragon Quest 11 for Switch.
Yes.
Otherwise known as the definitive version.
The definitive edition.
Get fucked, PS4 and PC, I guess.
Yeah.
But, okay, I have been looking forward to this for so long because when Dragon Quest 11 came out and I heard that in Japan, the Japan only 3DS version, it had like the sort of chibi 3D style, but you could switch between a 3D style and a 16-bit style. And for that was really cool because, one, the music changes, but also there are different sort of puzzles you can do in 16-bit, certain items that you could only find if you switch the map to 16-bit. So it was rad, and the fact that, like, in the Switch version, they're like, oh, we're just gonna take, like, the 3D style of, like, the PS4 and PC version and keep that, but we are also going to add the 16-bit elements that were in the 3DS version, so you can switch in between those to go ahead and play the game. And I'm like, that's so cool! That's so fucking cool!
I think they really missed a golden opportunity to make it so that the 16-bit version was when you play the game in portable mode, and the realistic style is when you play it docked. But I can see why that would be a problem implementing, and, like, they wanted to bring out the Switch Lite, which is portable only.
Yeah.
But, like, I still stand by, this could have been an awesome concept.
It would have been such a cool concept. People would have been mad regardless.
I know.
Myself included.
But it would have been adorable.
It would have been adorable, but I'm really excited for it. It's Dragon Quest. It's such a cool, like, traditional JRPG. So
yeah, I mean, if you know anything about the Dragon Quest series, and I think we touched on this a little bit before with the builders, is that, like, it's tropey, it's Dragon Questy. Dragon Questy is very trope RPG. Like, it is, if you like JRPGs and you want a good JRPG romp, like, Dragon Quest 9, like 11 is the one.
It is the one, and, you know, it's like, did you want a JRPG but you just want to look like Dragon Ball all the time? Here you go.
Yeah, that's, you know, if you want art by Akira Toriyama.
Here you go.
There you go. So, I think we're ready to go into October.
Ah, yes. Let's see. Okay. So, The Outer Worlds. The game by, like, the, what was it? Obsidian Studios, who did Fallout New Vegas, and are the quote-unquote, the real, Fallout creators.
The real Fallout
creators. And I still remember when they did, like, the shots fired when they announced it at, like, Bethesda after Fallout 76 just, like, released. And it's just, I forget what was the specifics, but boy howdy, they were pretty much like, listen, this is a good marketing buzz. We're ready to go ahead and capitalize on this. Get fucked, Fallout 76. Guess what? We're bringing Space Rick and everything else into here, and it looks cool. I don't know if I'm excited for it.
I think anyone who is Fallout stan is going to be like, this is right up their alley.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you have played, like, especially Fallout New Vegas, it's your jam, and you want a little bit more of that. It's not. It's gonna be just a tad bit different, but it's still gonna be more of the same.
Yeah, and like I loved New Vegas, especially after giving it a second go on PC rather than PS3, because
with mods, because mods are best.
Mods are best, but also like even just kind of by itself, it does a lot of things interestingly. It plays with a lot of concepts that are cool and fun, and it's not just kind of route like Fallout 3 was. It wasn't so concerned that there is just this bad guy. Granted, Caesar's Legion is that bad guy, but
yeah,
comparatively to like the New California Republic versus like the people who are already in New Vegas, it's like, yeah, there is like this kind of idea of like colonialism and expansionism, and even though like Caesar's Legion are fucking horrible and rape and pillage villages, or the New California Republic eat that much better, who just came into like this like sort of like city state that was doing just fine, and suddenly they're like, oh no, you're part of the New California Republic now, and they're like, who said that?
Yeah.
So it's cool, and the game is very much leaning on that whole like anti-capitalist sort of like pillar, by being like a bunch of corporations came into like the outer expanse, and that's all they are now, and everything like it costs too much to live, and I'm like, mood.
Yeah. Would it be fair to assume that this could possibly be like the Fallout, but without any of the Bethesda brokenness?
I don't think so, because
it might still have some of that.
Because this is the same studio that also brought me like Knights of the Old Republic 2, which was a broken mess.
Yeah.
So like this also kind of highlights that the reason like Obsidian Studios is such a good studio to me, and it knows what it's doing more or less, and I'm excited to see what it will do with this. But I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it until, like, kind of see, like, what some of my favorite reviewers, like Heather Alexandra or, like, Austin Walker say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not about to drop $60 and boot up my PC for a game that, like, might just, try to shoot for these marks, but really don't stick the landing or miss it entirely. Because, yeah, it's interesting.
Yep. So, I think it's time to touch base on something that I thought was never going to come back, and here we are, Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz.
Yeah.
That kind of came literally out of nowhere, and they're like, also, it's coming out this year, in October.
Why are they remastering the Wii one?
I don't know.
Like, that was the thing that threw me for a loop, was like, why the Wii one? Why not, like, the original, or like Super Monkey Ball 2? Why the Wii one?
Why the Wii one? Well,
yeah,
because they like sucking wee-wee, I guess.
I guess, but I mean, I'm not excited, but I'll get it because it's Super Monkey Ball.
It's perfect for all 2 Monkey Ball fans.
I hope that for the Switch version they keep the motion controls. Oh, I wanna vomit so bad.
I remember playing Super Monkey Ball once and being like, "What is this vomit comet hell?" Yeah, I think that's good. I think that sums up our opinions on Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
The piece de resistance for October is on Halloween Day.
Oh my god, I'm
Luigi's Mansion 3 Electric Beelee.
No, Electric Luigi.
Electric Luigi with Luigi is coming out And,
my god.
Yeah, so thoughts and opinions on Guiji, and why or why not do you hate him?
I don't hate Guiji. I hate what the community is doing with Guiji.
Yeah, so I think I just, was it like 2 or 3 days ago, I just looked you dead in the eye, and I'm like, Joe, I accidentally stumbled onto Guiji porn, and I hate it.
I hate it.
It was only a matter of time, and by a matter of time, I mean it was basically 2 seconds before, like, dark side of Twitter was like, here's Guiji, but fucking Daisy.
So,
literally, but fucking Daisy.
Oh god, the thing that, just to kind of bookend this whole Guiji conversation, that
Nintendo thought this was a good idea.
They were asked multiple times while they were at E3, what does Guiji taste like? And the director's like, why do you people keep asking this? What is wrong with
Why
you?
did you assume that people weren't gonna ask about it? What? Nintendo. Why did you assume that people weren't gonna ask, what does Guiji taste like?
Can I eat Guiji?
Can I eat Guiji?
Can I vor him?
Can I vor Guiji? I don't know why they expected anything different. This is a classic example of a company forgets how horny on main internet culture is.
They weren't expecting, like, Bowsette, but there it is, and they were like, we just gotta nip this in the bud right now.
They did this to themselves. They have only themselves to blame. You cannot blame the internet for literally making a slime version of Luigi, which, by the way, slime monsters and slime monster versions of characters are just an internet trope, and then calling it, of all things, Guiji, which...
Okay, that's funny, though. That's fun to say.
Guiji sounds like a thing of when, like, an Italian person gets smegma.
Why are you like this? Why would you put that image into the podcast?
Because we're on the internet, Joe.
I hate this.
We're on the internet, Joe,
God.
and Nintendo brought this upon us. Italian smegma is what Guiji is.
You didn't need to say it twice.
Do you want me to say it a third time?
Please don't.
Okay, so anyway, I think we're both excited about Luigi's Mansion 3. I think they saw, like, they did Dark Moon, was it called?
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 2, which was, like, it was good.
It was arcadey. And
It was arcadey.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Nintendo saw what, the reaction to that, and we're like, okay, so people want more of the original. Got it. And I think Luigi's Mansion 3 is literally just the original, but also here's some extra things.
So the thing I liked seeing, especially from a lot of the gameplay demonstrations they were showing at E3, one, going back to sort of more like Metroidvania type deal, like in the original Luigi's Mansion, but going to Guiji and not talking about that part of Guiji. But the cool thing is, like, allowing for, like, a really, like, neat way to do, like, co-op, and also kind of, like, a little brother system, since Guiji is nigh impervious to everything except water. So it's like, okay, that's cool, actually. And
that means that they also had to design this mechanic where water plays a big role in when you can't play as Guiji and stuff like that. And I got to see a little bit of the kind of demo that they had for E3 and when they did the Treehouse Live.
Yeah.
And it looked really cool. There's, for instance, situations and boss battles where you have to man both regular Luigi and Guiji at the same time.
Yeah.
And, you're kind of like going back and forth between them and using both of them to, like, maybe corner a ghost or something like that. But then said ghost might have water powers. So there's situations where you have to be a little bit more strategic about, like, when you're switching over to Guiji. And I think that, like, it just adds this whole extra mechanic layer that I think, again, Nintendo's so known for introducing new, different, weird, quirky mechanics, usually with the premise of we played it and it was fun, and this just looks exactly like that. They came up with a weird, new, crazy, quirky mechanic, and they introduced it because, well, it's fucking fun.
So the other, like, speaking of, like, weird and quirky, then after this, I feel like we'll take a quick break to wet our whistles.
Oh, yeah.
Because the next release we're going to be talking about is going to take up a big chunk of our time.
Yeah.
So, but the weird, quirky, like, art style that they're going for, which is very reminiscent to me of, like, something like Psychonauts. Mm-hmm. It's very angular, very cartoony, very, like, you know...
Psychonauts meets the original, like, GameCube aesthetic.
It's so cool, and I'm so glad that they're leaning into that. I really am, and I'm really excited to play this game. I'm very excited, like, if we can play together and things like that, because I said co-op. I don't know if it's co-op. I feel like that would also break the game.
It might, but
yeah,
there might be some kind of co-op mechanic that you could implement.
Yeah, so I can't wait to play this on Halloweeny with Luigi.
Halloweeny with Luigi.
Oh, God. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break before we jump...
To grab some more alcohol, and also so I can occupy this boy who has been bothering me for the last hour.
This gremlin.
He has literally not stopped this entire time.
We'll be right back. Heartman's heart stops every 21 minutes. What happens is that he dies and he looks for his family on the other side for 3 minutes. This is describing Heartman, one of the characters from Death Stranding.
Anyway, let's talk about the thing that we're excited about in November, Just Dance 2020. So Just Dance 2020 is the next iteration of the Just Dance series.
The last Wii game.
The last Wii game to ever be released. Actually, we're not making like a mistake in calling the Wii U the Wii U. The Wii, like it's coming out on the Wii.
Yeah,
not the Wii U. It's not even coming out on the Wii U. It's coming out on the Wii
because nobody owns a Wii U.
So, Death Stranding.
So, this is such peak Kojima, like, this is such peak, like, nonsense. Like, what is this guy doing with the black credit card of Sony?
Sony said, let's give this man what he wants. And he said...
Make a man die every 21 minutes.
He said, Kojima's like, I want to make a man die every 21 minutes. Also, I want Norman Reedus's fully rendered, beautiful, naked body, and also Mads Mikkelsen, fully animated. And Sony is like, okay, here's the check.
I also want Guillermo del Toro.
Okay, here's the check.
I also want Troy Baker.
Okay, here's the check. And, they just gave the man what he wanted. So Death Stranding is coming out in November of this year. We're not joking. This game that was announced 2 years ago? 3?
It was about 3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago, that was like, this is Kojima's just impromptu. He just left Konami, formed a new studio.
Oh no, he was fired by Konami.
He was fired by Konami.
Yeah.
Given a new studio, got a new studio up and running, and it was like, here is my new game. It's called Death Stranding, released someday. And we're like, man, it is going to be 5 years' time that we'll actually like see gameplay footage of this game. And then this year, he was like, by the way, it's out at the end of this year on November. And we're like, I'm sorry,
what? Like, I listen, this is the only thing that's making me buy a PS4 because I gotta know. I just gotta know.
Like, at this point, all of the other games that came out or are coming out for the PS4 are like also like have already come out for the Switch or are slated for the Switch. This is the only one that is explicitly a PS4 exclusive that you cannot get your hands on. Actually, that and Bloodborne.
Yeah,
so you're like, we're gonna get a PS4 and we're gonna have 2 games for it.
Like, the thing is that, like, you know, Bloodborne is just a Soulsborne game, which, I mean, if you really, like, you don't need to go too far in order to get something that's like that.
You can scratch the itch without having to buy a whole new console.
But Hideo Kojima games are Hideo Kojima games, for better or for worse.
There's literally no other way to replicate this experience than to
get a Hideo Kojima game.
Get a Hideo Kojima game, and then just sink the next 600 hours into whatever fucking craziness this man is producing. I mean, the pre-order is coming with a literal...
A baby.
Baby in a lamp. It's a lamp.
It's a baby lamp.
It's a lamp that is a small fetus within an artificial womb. And we're going to have that as a centerpiece on our kitchen counter. It's just a lamp that is a fetus.
I couldn't get the pre-order in time.
Oh, are we not getting the...
We're not getting the baby. I'm sorry.
Not getting the baby. Oh, no.
You know...
Joe, I have to get a divorce with you now. This is the rules.
I feel bad, but we have a son.
We have a son. We just need to put him in a lamp. Come here, Diamonds!
Oh, God damn it.
Anyway,
so yeah, this game, like, it sounds like nonsense. It sounds like the same kind of shit that got me into, like, Metal Gear Solid 5. And Metal Gear Solid 5, I don't want to defend as, like, a good story. It's not.
No. It's not a good story-wise, the game. But you know what it is? It's just fun to fuck around in.
It's fun to fuck around.
And I get the feeling that regardless of whether or not it's designed to or not, this game, Death Stranding, is going to be fun to fuck around in.
I hope so. God, I hope so. Like, even if it's not fun to fuck around in, just give me more of this, like, weird avant-garde nonsense.
Oh, it looks like avant-garde garbage.
It's so... I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and
I mean garbage in the best of ways.
Hideo, never become a filmmaker because you will be, like, just plummeted into the earth.
You will be panned by all critics. The only way this works is
as a video game.
Yeah, is as a video game.
Because, for whatever reason, you have a knack for making mechanically beautiful games that do so many things so interestingly and that interact with, like, the environment in such a cool fucking way. But, God help you cannot craft a story, like, that's somewhat coherent at all.
It doesn't need to be coherent.
Oh, God.
You know, that's the thing, is there are games that are... They are chemically produced to be the same every time, regardless of the experience. that they are cookie cutter games, but they are in the best way. Like, it is exactly what you desire. And then there's Hideo Kojima games, and I think from there, I think it's good to talk about the next game that is mainly coming out in November. That is actually a cookie cutter game that was chemically designed to scratch the same itch every time, regardless, and to be just stupid fun. Pokemon. Yes, we're talking about Pokemon.
Big Pokemon.
Big.
Chunky
Pokemon.
Big Pokemon.
Chunk Pokemon.
Because, as we know, that is, like, the hook outside of other things, such as a really fit gym leader. 2 of them, actually.
And ones that we are very, very gay for.
Oh, God. And, like, the hook is, like, if you've been living under a rock, Pokemon Sword and Shield is coming out in, like, November, and the sort of gameplay hook is, one, you get to do sort of raid battles with these Dynamax Pokemon, which are just Pokemon, but big.
But chunky.
But real big.
Oh, Lord, he coming.
And you can go ahead and make your own Pokemon big. And when you do this, they get, like, special powers. They can do, like, different things. It takes place in a sort of, like, UK-esque a UK-esque, like, sort of region, the Galar region, which is not fraught at all in our current political climate at all. Like, you don't want to take a place in, like, Britain or anything like that. Why would you want that?
Is there gonna be...
If it's Pokemon Brexit, I'm going to lose my shit.
But is there going to be a Boris Johnson?
Oh, God, I hope so. I hope he's the main villain, and I hope I get to stomp him with a giant Snorlax.
Please. Yeah, so, besides that thing, though, it's literally the same exact Pokemon that you know and love. The only exception is that there's Chonkers. And also, like, a fully realized, like, 3D world with, like, actual, like, Pokemon wandering around in the, like, actual field, which I think is just straight up fucking cool.
No, that's really cool, and I'm glad that that's one of the things that they're pulling from the Let's Go series.
Yeah.
Because that was, it's like, nobody likes random encounters. If we have the technology now, just make them on the screen. I don't want to take 2 steps and then... Like, I don't want that. I don't want it anymore. And
I like how we both knew the exact same theme that was gonna start playing. Like, we're just on the same wavelength, my dude.
We are, and I like that. I realize that this is, like, something that's been beaten with, like, a dead horse for, like, forever, but now that Let's Go exists, and we are now confronting the fact that we are just beating animals into submission, like, there's something to be said to the fact that you go and visit a wild Pokemon, you beat the shit out of it, and it's like, hey, you want to come and hang out with me, buddy? He's like, okay, I guess. But then you also have, like, other Pokemon, like Machoke, that are just running after you, ready to...
Machoke just, like, sees you, turns around, and just starts stomping your way, like, literally, the oh lord, he coming. It was so funny to just see that in the E3, Nintendo Treehouse of, like, the Machoke.
You just see, like, the exclamation point go over his name, like...
Yeah, like Metal Gear, like, surprise button, and then just chomping on over towards you like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Aw, shit, here we go again.
Oh my god, it's great. Like, I just kind of wish that they kept the same system from, like, I guess the Let's Go series, at least for the wild Pokemon, if only because it made me feel better as a person to not beat the shit out of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, that was just it. It's like, I felt better about that, at least. But outside of that, like, it looks, like I said, it looks like the standard Pokemon game. The other thing that has been, like, sort of, like, kind of a hot topic is the fact that they're not allowing every Pokemon in this game. So, like, certain Pokemon just won't be compatible with it. And they cited it's because, like, we're up to almost 800 Pokemon now. Like,
and there was gonna come a point where it's just not feasible to have all of them.
It's not, and that it makes sense, and I get it. But then it raises the question: okay, which Pokemon are making it over, and
which ones are getting the cut? Is it the least popular ones?
And yeah, I mean, nobody wants the literal garbage pile Pokemon. Nobody was using him. Let's be real.
I disagree. He was a mood.
I mean, he was a mood, but did you use him outside of Gen 4? I think he was Gen 4.
I can't even remember what generations or what anymore. It was the Pokemon in X and Y.
I don't think it was the X and Y one. It was...
Oh, Black and White?
I think so. Yeah, then it was Gen 5. But yeah, like... it's like there are honestly like whole swaths of those generations that nobody cared about.
Like, you could pull up some of these Pokemon and show them to, like, actual Pokemon fans, and they'd be like, what?
They'll be like, that's a fake one, right?
Yeah. And you'd be like, nah, B, and he'd be like, nah. No, that's fake. There's no way that is real.
So, I get it. It's just that it raises the question, especially for someone like me, who, like, Gen 2, I'm like, is Totodile safe? Is Totodile gonna make the cut? That's the only one I care about, and he's a starter, so I don't think I have anything to worry about, but I'm still worried about my poor Chompy boy.
Yeah.
So
meanwhile, like, I know for a fact that Gengar is always going to be safe.
yeah, always, yeah.
Now, as far as, like, my other favorite Pokemon, which is the legendary Suicune, I haven't actually seen Suicune, like, playable in any of, like, the recent Pokemon games.
I feel like for the legendaries, we don't really have too much to worry about.
Yeah.
They
just never appear, basically.
They just never appear, and now that we basically have, like, a Pokemon sort of constantly online game, they'll probably make it so that they're, like, raids or something like that.
Which, like, bruh, I'm not gonna do that shit.
So, it'll probably be something like that, but, I want it. I want to play it because, I want to, see Sword Dog, not Sif from Dark Souls, but totally Sif from Dark Souls.
Absolutely.
I just am more upset that they're still doing the whole like version exclusive bullshit, because of course they are. And if I want a Tyranitar, I gotta get Shield. And if I want to go ahead and see like the fit fighting waifu, I have to get Shield because they have exclusive gym leaders now, which is stupid, but also I get it. So I'm glad that we're married because we can get both versions.
Yeah, because I'm absolutely getting Sword because I love Sword Dog.
I
want Long Dog. Give me Long Dog.
I'm happy for you. I'm going to have the far more inferior Shield Dog, if only because I get the more superior Godzilla Tyranitar.
Absolutely. So, you want to briefly touch on these last three that we're going to talk about?
Sure.
I think we don't need to go too much into them, but the next one that's coming out pretty much the same day as Sword and Shield.
Yes. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which has gotten the rough end of the marketing stick because
I forgot that it was coming out entirely.
Well, part of it is like it was very misrepresented, and like a lot of people like just thought it was like Uncharted, but it was Uncharted but Star Wars. It's not. It's a Metroidvania, but Star Wars. And that's rad!
Which is exciting.
That's cool, except they don't want to focus on that. For whatever reason, EA is like, let's trick them into believing it's a different game. And meanwhile, everybody's like, I don't want that game. We're like, well, we're still going to market it as such. And everybody who finds out that it's a Metroidvania are like, wait, I want that game. Why aren't you telling me that this is that game?
And everyone else is like, oh, cool. Anyway, ooh, Galaxy's Edge. Like, you know, that's the thing, is that it's also like, you know, there's other Star Wars things coming out right now that are far more, better, basically, you know, kind of thing.
I hesitate to say that because, Fallen Order, like I said, it hasn't gotten a fair shot in, like,
it could be so good, but the way that it's being marketed right now is doing a disservice to the actual game.
So, yeah, get your fucking shit together. You never will, but get your shit together.
We're still gonna call you out on it.
Like, Shenmue 3, which I can't believe is coming out still.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I haven't seen much of the regular, recent trailers. I don't know if they fixed the whole, like, the mocap face that we saw when it was initially announced, like, Roo, jump over the rocks. And you're just like, what is this?
Yeah. But yeah, that's a thing that's actually coming out this year. Surprise, guys. I don't think anyone remembered that Shenmue 3 is a thing, and if you did, you forgot that it was actually ever going to come out because it's Kickstarter.
And also, like, I feel like for, like, the people who did, because there was a lot of people who backed Shenmue 3, they have reason to be not excited, really, because it just didn't look like it was going to be okay. It still doesn't. It looks like a Dreamcast game in the worst way.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like kind of this sort of PS2 renaissance that we're ironically getting on the Switch, where, like, we're getting a bunch of PS2 kind of, like, era video games like Daemon X Machina or shit that's like JRPGs.
Yeah. You know, and this thing is that I think Shenmue 3 could end up being a good game in the end.
Yeah.
Like a good game, but like, let's be real, it's not gonna be one of the Kickstarter like success stories
like
that,
Shovel Knight.
Yeah, it's not gonna be one of those, and I think that's kind of all we really need to say about it. I think the last one we should touch on is Doom Eternal.
Alright, I'm gonna go in, and by in I mean it is Doom. It's Doom 2016 2 Electric Boogaloo. I am excited. I can't wait. I need to look on like the latest reviews for Youngblood though, because we kind of touched upon this.
Yeah.
But it should be coming out on Switch on the same day. I hope the port is not garbage. I hope it's as good as the Doom 2016 port that came to Switch, which, like, you know, people...
There were still glitches.
But it ran well, is the thing. Like, it made it so that it compensated for the Switch hardware. And
for all the people who complained about it not being 60 FPS, it's like, you didn't need to be, though.
You didn't need to be, and they did it in such a way that it didn't, like, impede upon the experience. Even for somebody who did play on PC, who did play at 60 frames per second, like, it was an adjustment at first, because you played the 60 frames first, but then after that, it was perfectly fine. So, and listen, I want Doom on the toilet, okay? It's a good game to play on the toilet. It allows
Doom is the perfect game to play on the toilet.
Because you go ahead and you pump and dump into a demon, and then you pump and dump into the toilet. It's
perfect.
Great. It's perfect. So yeah, that's Doom Eternal. It's funny because like the Dooms 1 through 3 came out, I think, yesterday on Switch, which Bethesda, just A+ game developers, guys. They're like, hey, you need a constant online connection in order to even access this game. And you're like, what is going on? And they responded with like, people didn't like this. It's like, yeah. And they're like, we're getting rid of it. And I'm like, cool. But yeah, that does it for November. Is there anything coming out in December?
I can't remember any off the top of my head, and there's not really too much to talk about December as far as I recall.
So it really is just November.
It's November, and there's probably going to be some other smaller games that are coming out in December, but I think a lot of the holiday release is starting with late November. And especially with like Pokemon gets started around that time. So, like, that's all you really need to know.
Yep.
So that really, I think, leads us into 2020.
2020, so...
and I think that it would be a good time to talk about some of the games that we know are for sure coming out next year, as well as some games that are hopefully coming out next year. And I think almost all of these are Switch games, Joe.
Yeah.
Except for one.
So... a couple of these are just kind of like wish list games, really. But for the other one that I'm hoping is going to be like in 2020, and they haven't said anything about the development other than it's going well, is Bayonetta 3.
Yep.
Astral Chain's coming out next month, which is good.
Which is obviously Platinum Games' focus right now.
Yeah, and it's okay, but it's like... we haven't heard anything about Bayonetta 3, and especially after the fact that we've had, like, several, like, sort of Nintendo announcements, like, especially with Metroid Prime 4, where it was like, hey, development wasn't going good, guys. We are going to delay this for a while. And the fact that, like, they're like, oh, no, development's going okay, it's like, okay, cool, do you have anything to show?
No. And, I think that maybe just because, especially when it came with, Astral Chain's coming out this year.
Yeah.
And a lot of other games have been coming out this year. I think maybe they're waiting to talk about Bayonetta until next year.
Hopefully, yeah.
And, hopefully sometime maybe around E3 of next year's when we'll see more about Bayonetta. And they'll probably do the thing where they're like, Bayonetta coming out basically now.
Or they could do the thing like with the Bayonetta collection last time where it came out on Valentine's Day. And I was like, this is the perfect Valentine's Day present.
Beautiful. And I think since we mentioned it, let's also talk about Metroid Prime.
Yes, so Metroid Prime 4, which I don't think is going to be coming out next year, but hopefully, like, information about it.
Yeah.
Like, I know Retro Studios, the same people who made the original ones,
are coming back.
They're coming back after trying to work with, like, some other developers. I don't know who they were working with before this.
Yeah. It sounded like there was clearly a shit show involved, that Metroid Prime 4 was supposed to come out this year, and then we heard, like, nothing about it, and then nothing about it, and nothing about it, and then Nintendo literally made a video and put it out that said, we're having to basically scrap this game and restart because it did not go the way we were hoping for it.
Which was so uncharacteristic of, like, Nintendo.
It was so uncharacteristic of the video game industry. Most times, if a game is slated to release in a year, like, you know,
it just happens.
Developers will make it happen regardless of whether or not it's a good game. And most companies are unwilling to just take a hit and, you know, forego immediate profit in favor of longer term, better, you know, company
reputation.
Karma and reputation. You know, and so it's actually a breath of fresh air that Nintendo came out and said, this isn't going how we wanted it to. We're starting at square one.
We're starting at square one. We're getting a whole different studio involved.
And like,
it might be a different game.
Yeah, and like even going so far as like, you know, and this is very Japanese saying that they were bowing an apology of like, you know, thank you for your understanding kind of thing, like directly at the audience, directly at consumers of like, thank you for your your patience, that it's gonna be a little bit longer for this game that we know you're excited about.
So speaking of it's gonna be a little bit longer for a game that you're gonna be excited about, we do have something to look forward to in March.
So on the oh god, I'm gonna die of happiness. So we never actually got to talk too much on this podcast.
We didn't.
About E3, and they announced Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I am dying inside because I really wanted it now, but I have to be more patient because they realized that they weren't going to be able to put out the game in
2019.
In 2019 without compromising the health and mental well-being of their employees, so they delayed the game. And so we are looking forward to Animal Crossing New Horizons in March, and it looks so good. It looks so good.
I can't wait for Animal Crossing Fire Festival.
It's Fire Fest. I'm so excited.
Oh my god, I get my own island.
I get my own exclusive Bahama island, definitely located exclusively on private property.
Definitely.
I am absolutely gonna make some like FEMA relief tents.
Oh god, damn it! Oh god.
Yeah. So yeah, we're hype, y'all.
We're hype.
We're hype. If you want to talk about why we're hype with us, like just at us.
Yeah.
Just at Joe and Mael, and just like look at us dead in the face and be like, I want to talk about Animal Crossing, and I will sit you down with a full bottle of wine and we can scream about this.
So the one thing that I feel like a lot of people are I haven't seen many people upset about it, but I feel like you might be, is the fact that like they aren't going to be doing a lot of connection with Pocket Camp.
I mean, okay, that's fair, because that would literally give an advantage to me and only me, basically. Like, the one person who has been playing Animal Crossing literally every single day since it came out.
Yeah.
Like, it would only benefit me, basically. And crazy, stupid people like me.
Now, the other thing is, and this was the thing that I was really happy to learn, it's still going to have amiibo functionality, which is strange for, a Switch game in 2020.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they just planned it from the beginning, and here we are. And that's good for us, because we have almost all of the villagers that we want in amiibo cards, because I have a problem.
You have a problem, but it's okay. We're going to have Bob. And that's all that matters.
Yes.
The best villager.
Also, I will say that there was only one villager I was not able to purchase a card of, and that was because I was trying to get Marshall. And it turns out that when we were in Japan and I found the Marshall card,
it was still $50.
He was $50 whole US, and I was like, bruh, I love Marshall, but I don't want to part with $50 for a singular card. And this was at the time that I didn't even know if these were going to be usable.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, they haven't confirmed what the functionality is going to look like. I imagine it's going to be the same as, like, the RVs in, like, New Leaf or something like that.
Yeah, which some people say is technically cheating, and I'm like, get bent, I do what I want.
Get bent, I want the good villager.
Yeah, fuck you, I'm getting all of my favorite villagers. I'm getting Anka, Marshall, Bob, like...
Punchy.
Punchy, like, F off. Again, I do what I want.
So... It's cool. It's more than cool. I'm so excited. I'm happy. Okay, so we didn't talk about it much, but the Switch Lite, how much do you want to bet they're going to have an Animal Crossing New Horizons exclusive Switch Lite?
Oh my god. I love it.
How much do you want to bet that they're going to have, like, the Pop-Tart Switch Lite?
Oh no, Joe, don't bring up the Pop-Tart.
It's gonna be the Pop-Tart.
Joe, the Pop-Tart, I love my... Okay, like, I feel like we need to explain the Pop-Tart. So, is the Pop-Tart up on
It's not.
Yeah, so I have the Pop-Tart. So when, Animal Crossing New Leaf came out on the 3DS, this was actually something that I was so excited for like the year and a half that it was out in Japan, and we had no release date in America. And in Japan, they had come out with this, and that it was a 3DS XL that had this cute Animal Crossing pattern on it, which I think you can probably, like, you know, easily find online, like, Animal Crossing pattern. Like, white with, like, these little rainbow icons, and everyone refers to it as the Pop-Tart, because it looks like a Pop-Tart, and I love it. And also, yes, if they came out with a Pop-Tart for the Switch, I would die.
Yep.
My soul would leave my body.
It would be great. It would be great.
And I would just have to spend more money. Maybe, hopefully, as a, not the opposite of an FU to Switch fans who already or Animal Crossing fans who already have Switches and not Switch Lites, that they would give us Pop-Tart Joy-Cons.
I feel like they would.
Please give us Pop-Tart Joy-Cons.
Because that was the other thing that they were kind of harping on, is the fact that you could pop off, like, a Joy-Con, give it to your friend, and they could just, like, hang out on your island, basically.
Yeah, so give us Pop-Tart Joy-Cons, please.
Please.
Please and thank you.
Let's see. So then, actual games that are coming out next year.
No More Heroes?
No More Heroes 3! Oh, fuck me up. Someone gave Suda51 money, and they were like,
even after No More Heroes 2 wasn't actually as big of a profit margin as they were hoping for.
And even Travis Strikes Again, which is no longer a Switch exclusive. Like, listen, I'm so glad that they're still giving this dude the chance, because every one of his games has, like, such, like, a thing about it that still makes it so cool and interesting. Like, Let It Die, despite being, like, you know, a free-to-play, like, clone of Dark Souls, had the most bopping-ass soundtrack to have ever hit video games ever. And then you have, like, No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again, which is just chock full of, like... Student51 loves video games. He fucking loves video games, and he loves nerd culture, and he loves, you know, being an otaku, and that's cool, and that's great. And No More Heroes 3 just seems to go ahead and go a step further by, like, the trailer one just, like, be like, is today the 4th of July?
I actually, you've made me watch that trailer, like, 50 times now, and I still hate it.
It's...
Because it's just, like, he says, like, like, 3 sentences that each of them are just a dumb, kitschy pop culture reference, and he just sounds like a neckbeard. He sounds, and at that moment looks like a goddamn neckbeard, like the neckbeard, the long ponytail that it's just because he's never cut his hair, and the fedora walking in his camo pants, just like, is it the 4th of July? At the aliens attacking?
Is the Empire striking back or what?
Is the Empire striking back or what?
Before he goes ahead and he goes back to the Travis touchdown we all know and love, he goes, Henshin! It just, like, becomes a fucking Kamen Rider.
Like, I actually hate that, like, that 5 seconds of like stupid pop culture reference is my least favorite 5 seconds I keep on having to relive, like, constantly.
It's so, like, it like, I remember watching that trailer and it just kind of lures you into this false sense of security at first. Or not false sense of security, it's like, what the fuck is this game? Like, who the fuck is this? Before you're like, oh, it's Travis touchdown!
Yeah. Like, I don't know why they make him look like a literal, like, dirty old man, and then it's like, oh, it's Travis. There he is, and you're like, okay, I still hate it. I don't even say thanks. I just hate it.
It's just like, oh my god, it's great. I'm so, like, the gameplay, like, because they did an extended cut that basically has, like, the HUD of the original, like, No More Heroes and stuff to just, like, let everybody know, like, listen, we're not doing a top-down game. We are doing the original No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Like, we are doing that.
Also, like, the extended version includes one singular extra fuck.
Yeah. Fuckhead. It's like...
That's also the other edit of the extended cut.
Yeah.
Is just, there's a singular extra fuck.
It's great. I'm so glad. I cannot wait for my misanthropic, person that I wasn't hoping to become, but I became anyway, Travis touchdown.
You know. I want to touch on one game briefly before I jump into speculation. I had mentioned before that Rune Factory 4 is, like, basically out now as a special. This also was announced alongside Rune Factory 5 to be determined, and fuck me up. Please give it to me next year. Here is literally all of my money. I will give you my social security number and my account number and my routing number, and you can just have all of my money.
16586 490
6676666. You can have all $20 I have in my bank account.
There you go.
Give me Rune Factory 5 now.
All right.
And one last thing I want to touch on that could possibly come out next year.
Our wish list. Like, could this possibly happen?Maybe.
So, and Nintendo did the needful and put Banjo and Kazooie in Smash. So, gotta just, just let that sink in. Banjo and Kazooie are back on a Nintendo console for the first time since Microsoft bought Rareware back in the good old golden days of Nintendo.
Yep.
I haven't seen Banjo-Kazooie rendered in HD as beautiful as this, and they did come out with a collector's edition of Rare Classics for
the Xbone,
for the Xbox 360 and the Xbone a while back. Nintendo, can you give us that on the Switch? Okay, thank you. Also, Banjo-Kazooie 3! Kazooie 3! Please!
You're just like, we're just gonna ignore that nuts and bolts ever happened.
What are you talking about? There is only Banjo-Kazooie 1 and Banjo-Tooie. There's no other game. There never was a 3E. There was never a Banjo 3E.
Banjo 3E. Would it be 3E Kazooie? Because they did Banjo-Tooie, so, like, Kazooie probably got upset and was like, no, you're getting your name out of here.
Fuck you, I want my name to be featured in here. Yeah, so, literally anyone who knows me and knows me well knows that Banjo-Kazooie is my favorite game of all time. Banjo-Kazooie is best game ever. It is the best, most classic. You can still play it today, just as joyful as it once was. Beautiful and moves like butter. Still to this day, even on the Nintendo 64 controller, still plays plays as soft and smooth as butter. Hot melted butter. You can still play it. And again, like, on the Nintendo 64 controller, anyone who in the last, 5 years has picked up the 64 controller knows that it feels like junk.
Yeah.
But that game still plays like butter. It's so good. It's so good. And it's such a good game. And please, give me... I will take more of the same. Just give me Banjo-Kazooie again. And not announce, and you could even confirm that you're not making a 3. It's okay. I get it. I understand.
I get it.
I understand. It's not coming back. I feel you. I understand. Ukulele didn't play out. I get it. Just give me more. Just give me Banjo-Kazooie again. I will take it. Just put it on the Switch, please. Please give it to me, Nintendo. You're teasing me. You're teasing me, and I'm losing it. I want my bird and bear. I love them.
I know, man.
Also, my new mains, of course, obviously.
Of course. I'm gonna have the hero from Dragon Quest and Joker, and you're gonna have Banjo now.
All I need is Banjo and Kazooie. I love them. I love my sassy bird girl and my lazy oaf of bear that only wears pants. At least he wears the pants.
He still wears the pants, yeah. Which insinuates that he has a big old flopping bear cock under there.
Okay, well, you brought that up, not me. So I think that about does it for all of the games that are scheduled and not yet scheduled.
So the one that I would like to see scheduled, the last one.
Yeah.
Just because we're seeing this big old Gundam push.
Yeah.
We're seeing, it's like, Gundam took over, fucking Anime Expo. They had the Gundam on the lawn chair for, San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They had, just...
Bluefin is going ham this year.
Bluefin's going ham. Just port Gundam Breaker 3 to the Switch.
Right.
Just a good Gundam Breaker. The good Gundam Breaker. And
not the bad one.
Not the bad one. Just the good one on Switch. And I will be okay with that. I will be more than okay with that. I want, a real Gundam Breaker game. I'm still gonna play Gundam Breaker Mobile, because of course I would. But...
because you're gullible.
Because I like Gundam, and I will take what I can get. But yeah, that's what I would like to see. And I want to see them bring more of those games over stateside, because they're surprisingly competent, good games that I think do well. It's just a matter of I feel like Western developers and publishers just kind of understanding that people like me will spend exorbitant amounts of money on this.
Yeah, they just need to come to that realization that there is a market for mecha, and I think this year has been the year of mecha.
Yeah,
and I think we will start to see more of these games that for the longest time never got translated stateside, because it's they're not gonna sell, they're so niche. They maybe wouldn't be so niche if you actually advertise them and put them out, because people clearly want to buy these and play these. Just give it to them.
Just give it to them.
It's never been easier to actually get translations out for cheap.
It's cool, and like I said, just if we're bringing Daemon X Machina here, and bringing that same level of customization, just bring my good old boys Gundam Breakers home. Just bring it home to the Switch.
Bring it home, my dude.
That's all I want. So, that about does it for this segment. Following this, we're going to be talking about Code Geass, a recording we did a little over 2 weeks ago.
Yep. So, it might be a weird break and not seem like it makes any sense.
Yeah, so you might be like, they talked about this already in the beginning of the episode. We probably did. So, anyway, we'll go ahead and switch it on over to Past Joe and Past Mael there.
Hey, have fun.
Hey everybody, it's Code Geass time. Hi, Mael.
Hello, Joe.
My darling husband.
Hi.
What are we drinking?
So, this is my drink of the week kind of thing. I started making Scissorax.
Ooh.
So, I went ahead and made Scissorax. It's if you kind of like the taste of fennel or, other, herbs, but you don't like black licorice, so you don't like absinthe. This has, just the bare minimum amount of absinthe, which is still very strong.
Oh, yeah.
But it just really gives a nice herbal flavor to bourbon or rye in this case, and it's just very nice.
It's really
I
nice.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm digging it.
It's definitely been like one of my favorite drinks you've made so far.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to go ahead and sip on, or in the case of mine, recklessly drink while going ahead and playing video games.
Yeah, you tend to do that. I'm telling you that this is going to be your last drink of the night.
Oh,
so
yeah,
do it that what you will. If you want to chug it in the first 15 minutes of this, that's your prerogative, my dude.
That is where I could go ahead and land with this. But so yeah, we got ourselves some 2 episodes of Code Geass, so let's go ahead and just jump on into it. So we got episode 7, and the way episode 7 opens up is with a little baby Lelouch walking up towards the royal court as everybody's like, oh, look at that,
It's a baby.
It's a baby, it's the king's baby. The baby's really upset because his mommy died. And yeah, he's really upset because his mommy died, because it turns out that
she was murdered, and right in front of his sister, right on top of his sister, in fact.
And he's like, Dad, what the fuck? Are you gonna do nothing about this? And he's like, this is old news, get the fuck out of here. And Lucia's like, what do you mean old news? What the fuck? And after that, he's like, blah, 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 like something, if people can't fight for themselves, blah, 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 I'm a Nazi, da, 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 da. And Lucia's like, well, fuck you, fuck your kings, fuck royalty, guess what, I don't even want the throne anymore, get bent.
Fuck you.
And everybody's like, oh my god, how could he go ahead and throw away the throne? And I'm just over here like, I don't know, maybe it's because he got radicalized, because he witnessed the death of his mom, and the fucking, his sister getting disabled, right in front of him. I don't know, might have something to do with that, and the sheer callousness of this entire Nazi regime. Who'd have think?
Big mood.
Big mood. So his father just kind of gets on up, and he's like, you've always been nothing to me, you've been dead since the day you were born, you're nothing.
And I give you the clothes that you wear. Fuck off!
It's literally every abusive parent's, thing about, who do you think pays for this roof over your head? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the intimidation technique of I own you mentality that never plays over well.
Oh, yeah,
it never makes a child love you more, just saying.
It really, really doesn't. So, we go ahead and come back to the present day, where Suzaku is being talked about with Cornelia as they're like, oh yeah, he's piloting the Gundam and blah blah blah. And she's like, put him in my unit. And they're like, why? And she's like, he's a cop, so therefore he has no race, only blue lives. So
wild.
So yeah, then we cut to Suzaku in the hangar with the Gundam, the Lancelot, and he's just doing homework, and the chief of K is like, oh, that's really nice that you're being a normal boy. He's like, I don't know how to read.
What up? I'm Suzaku, I'm 19, and I never learned how to fucking read. It's actually kind of how that thing plays out. It's I don't know what I'm doing, but everyone else is teaching me how to do it.
Everyone else is teaching me how to be a good boy, especially my good friend Lelouch. And she's like, don't you take that friend for granted. Y'all have a destiny that's intertwined together.
Wow, foreshadowing. Wow. And yes, he will take it for granted. Wild.
Oh, wild.
As we had already discussed in our other episode about Aikido.
Yeah,
absolutely taken for granted.
Absolutely. So he goes on to be a normal kid as the other students are getting ready for the cat festival, because same. I drink the Kool-Aid now. I like cats a lot now.
Yeah, as it turns out, cats are great.
they're really good. And we see the purple cat just kind of chilling, just meow, and it's great. But then what's her name? Shirley goes ahead and she's like, hey, I know about you. And Colin just takes out the switchblade you know what?
Sorry, what?
She is absolutely ready to go stab Shirley to death right now.
Listen, some people are just murder happy. Some people are murder happy.
And she's
I don't know what to say about that.
I know about you and Lelouch. And she's like, wait, what? As the cat's just trying to get out of her grip, you got a knife. This is bad. And Colin's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I saw you kissing him. That was not me, and we didn't get that far. What do you mean you didn't get that far? And it's just Oh, playful misunderstanding, because this is anime, and you know how anime works, where they clearly know how to write women all the time. So, after that, they are then going ahead and talking about, we cut to the Britannian army as they are then basically justifying murder of, like, an entire ghetto again, because they just like doing that. They just love killing. Like, they're perfectly okay with just, like, taking human lives at all points in time, and just acting like the Gestapo.
Absolutely. They're just like, well, we didn't do anything. And they're like, exactly, you did nothing, therefore we kill you.
Oh my god. So, so they're basically saying, like, you know, well, Zero, like, if Zero's, like, as theatrical as I think he is, he's gonna want to come. Like, that's it. Like, we just have to make it as theatrical as possible, and this dramatic bitch, this messy bitch, cannot resist going ahead and responding to our clapback on Twitter. He cannot resist this. And they're right. Because Lelouch starts getting ready, and he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and go there. And C2's like, no the fuck you ain't. We made a deal. You need to stay alive. And she pulls a gun at him, and he's like, isn't this counterintuitive? She's like, I'm not gonna shoot you in the heart or anything. I'm just gonna shoot you in the leg. And he's like, ha, joke's on you. And
I also have a gun.
I also have a gun. She's like, what are you gonna do, shoot me? No. What are you gonna do, shoot me in the head? No, I'm gonna shoot myself in the head. What?
Joke's on you. I'll kill myself. Joke's on you. I'm suicidal.
And my note here was like, LMAO, Lelouch here, a true millennial. Like, horribly radicalized, but also just very much willing to just jump off a bridge at any point in time.
Yep.
So, after that, we cut to the, you know, the ethnic cleansing in progress as they gun down, you know, just harmless civilians in the street.
Just because.
Just because.
You know, regular Sunday afternoon.
Regular Sunday afternoon for Britannia, honestly.
Yeah.
And
nothing new.
Lelouch is looking on like, God damn it, I hate Nazis. As a Nazi comes up and he's like, hey, who are you? And he's like, I'm from the, I don't know, the scouting division or whatever. I got this disc that has information about the terrorists. Well, I still need to check your ID, so let me jump on out of my mech. He's like, cool, I'm about to do this for a second time, so give me the mech, please. And he's like, I'm gonna give you the mech. And he goes ahead and starts doing the same plan that he did in Shinjuku. So, as he starts to do this, Cornelia is a smart Nazi. So, she starts putting the pieces together, like, it's just like Shinjuku. He's doing the exact same shit. Alright, everybody start falling back, because
bitch, watch this.
Bitch, watch this. I'm gonna go ahead and trap him. We also intersperse this with C2 having conversations with herself, or supposedly conversations with herself. So, who knows what that means? And, we cut to Shirley and Suzaku hanging out now. Suzaku's trying to play with the cat. The cat is like, fuck cops.
Same.
And Shirley is talking to him about, like, oh, there was this one time where, like, where, like, Lelouch witnessed, this guy who rear-ended, like, a old couple and was being a real jackass about it. So, like, Lelouch just took, like, this, crane from, like, one of the nearby cars, just hooked it up to the guy's car, and it just started dragging it. It was fucking hilarious, except he didn't say anything about it. And
he just started fucking with this rich, wealthy guy, and it was hilarious, and everyone loved him, and then I realized, shit, I'm straight.
Shit, I'm straight. And Saka's like, yeah, you are. And he's
also like, stay away from my boyfriend.
Stay away from my boyfriend. And he then decides that this is a great time to go ahead and call Lelouch and ask him, yo, do you like this girl? And Lelouch is just sitting in the cockpit like, what the fuck? Why are they calling me? And Shirley's like, what are you, stupid? Don't do that.
And then they push each other and fall to the floor, and it's really strange.
It's really strange. And then the Kato also falls, and the Kato is really mad that the cop did this, so he bites his hand.
Yeah.
And Shirley's like, you know, does that hurt? He's like, extremely. And I'm like, it better. So, then we cut back to Lelouch in the middle of his plan, which is about to go south. Because he then starts ordering, like, some of his men to basically turn on their IFF signals, because he wants to convince, like, the Britannians, like, he's out there and not with the rest of them as they've been called back. And Cordelia didn't fall for it. She's like, kill the dude who just turned the signal on. That's not one of ours. And they're like, they might be. And she's like, no.
I don't give a shit.
She's like, I gave them an order. And if he didn't return back, well, it's on him. He should have walked.
Yeah. Bitch, watch me.
Bitch, watch me. As they go ahead and kill the dude. And guess what? He's not part of the Britannian army. So Lelouch starts putting the pieces together like, oh, fuck.
He panic.
He just starts panicking. He's like, yo, everybody back the fuck up. And everybody's like, no, we're not going to back the fuck up. What are you talking about? You're Zero. Nobody cares who you are. And Lelouch is like, God damn it. As Cordelia is then like, all right, everybody who's here, get up out of your mechs. I want to see your face.
Show me your titties.
Show me your tits. And Lelouch is like, oh, no.
Oh, no, I'm not wearing my cute bra today.
Oh, God, I fucked up. And, you know, the dude comes up and he's like, hey, you, why haven't you opened your hatch? He's like, mine was damaged in battle.
Malfunction. Help.
Help. And like, okay, turn around. We'll open it up for you. And he's like, God damn it. And just then, Deus Ex Machina, bitch. Big luck, as suddenly somebody, like, who looks exactly like Zero, appears. They're like, it's Zero, go ahead and shoot him. And they go ahead and try to shoot him, and
they run after him.
Yeah. So Lelouch goes ahead, and he gets out of the mech, and he's like, who the fuck was that? Blah, blah, blah. And he's running through the sewers, when he's then confronted by the Zero, and he's like, who are you? What are you doing? And C2 just takes off the mask, and she's like, buddy, I told you, I'm not gonna let you die. And also, that was a dumbass move.
Also, you stupid, you lost. And he's like, I didn't lose. I wouldn't have lost if they didn't change the conditions on me.
Sort of loser. I love C2 here.
C2's sass is undeniable.
It's great. And he's like, but no, we gotta fight on equal footing. I'm gonna make an army, a nation, someone, you know, united by the same principles that I have. I'm going to make Xeon.
Well, so that was certainly a conclusion, Joe.
That certainly was. So yeah, he's gonna go ahead and raise an army. And that's where we end the episode, episode 7. So, Mael, what did you think of this episode?
Yeah. It's very much like, oh man, we're going to repeat the same battle as last time, except it's going to be different to prove that Cornelia will not be, like, as an idiot as Clovis.
Like, to prove that Cornelia is the one smart Nazi.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, the only smart Nazi, probably.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that also, just, like, you know, they wanted to set up this kind of backstory about why all the other characters love Lelouch, and it's just like I don't care about Shirley.
Yeah.
I don't care about Shirley's character development. I don't care about Shirley.
Nobody cares about Shirley, but
I think I met like one or two people who are like, no, I love Shirley as a character. She's really like empathetic, and I'm just like, no.
No. Like, I feel like Shirley very much represents, like, the sort of, like, not inconsequential, but very much the sort of, like, she is the civilian perspective, right? Like, she is so wrapped up in just, like, her own shit as just a civilian, rather than being, like, you know, how everybody in Gundam's, like, either with the Federation or they're with Xeon. Like, they're always addressing it from a point of, like, I'm part of this larger cause. Whereas Shirley is very much the epitome of just, like, a citizen who really doesn't care. Like,
yeah, who isn't involved with it, or, you know, and just, like, separated from the tragedies. So she doesn't concern herself with it until...
Well, even then, it's still personal to her, right? It's not something, like, she thinks about, like, the larger context of why this is happening.
Yeah.
Or even really cares that, like, she's under Britannian rule.
Yeah, it only becomes a concern of hers when it finally affects her.
And, because, contrast this with, like, Nina, who's just, like, a fucking Britannian fangirl, and is, like, you know, the one, like, racist girl who's scared of anybody whose skin tone is darker than pale.
Yeah, fuck Nina.
Like, Nina is, like, I feel like the other spectrum of this, right, is,
Nina has drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, she's drank the Kool-Aid, whereas, like,
she's been fed the propaganda and believes in it.
And it's, like, people like, Shirley, like, Rivel, and, you know, basically some of the other, cast members at the high school, like, that's just their shit, right? Is, like, they don't care, and they don't care that Britannia is doing this. And they don't even really care about Britannia that much, unlike Shirley. Or not Shirley, Nina.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of the thing that I find interesting about Shirley as a character, is that she grounds the story in that, like, yeah, there are just going to be people who are so unaffected by this or just don't care. Because either A, they're teenagers, or B, like, you know, they live in a society, or they live in a part of society where they don't have to concern themselves with that.
Yep.
So, overall, I mean, this is another kind of transitionary episode where I felt like it would have felt a little bit more at home with, like, actually, no, I don't know, this kind of feels like a pointless episode in a way the more I think about it.
It was trying to just move the story forward.
Yeah.
And I think we both agree that it doesn't do a very good job of that.
It doesn't. So, with that, we'll just go ahead and move on to episode 8.
Yeah. Also, can I just make a brief little side note? If you're hearing sneezing in the background, that is our cat.
Yeah.
He currently is a little sickies, so he does that sometimes.
He does that.
We'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that at the end of this.
Yeah.
So, we'll go ahead and start with episode 8 as we are on a train with Shirley, the president, and Nina as they are as they are going to a sort of resort at a lake or whatever, and Nina's scared because brown people, and Shirley is just like, oh, don't worry, nothing bad's gonna happen.
Nothing bad will happen. We promise.
As the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia theme plays.
Yeah, it basically, it almost literally smash cuts to something bad happened.
So Zero now has like a whole bunch of sweet digs for his new sort of faction that we don't know the names of yet.
Yeah, that we just ask nicely for.
They just asked nicely
just
for.
Was like, yo,
just
hey.
by showing his eye, he's just like, hey, could you give me this? And he's like, sure thing, buddy. And I love that the one remark that one of the revolutionaries has here is like, wow, this thing has a TV. Like, that is the most coolest thing ever. Is that this like mobile vehicle has a TV, and
it gives you an idea of what the probably the conditions of the Japanese people are like.
You know, I didn't think about it that way. You know, you're right.
It's because like the revolutionaries, they're all Japanese, and so unlike there's only one of them that we know of that lives in actual nice, like quarters, and that's because she's only half Japanese. Everyone else probably lives in,
probably a shack.
Yeah, like they live in at most decent squalor. So the idea that there's a TV and a car, I mean, if they don't already have a TV, like,
yeah, So they turn on the TV, and it turns out, whoops, something bad happened. As we see that Shirley, Nina, and Madam President are being held hostage by the Japanese Liberation Front, and they're holding this place hostage because it turns out like this is the one place that has like the sort of like, I guess, monopoly on the unobtainium of the series, the Sakuradite.
Sakuradite.
Because it's Japanese.
It's Japanese, and also we need to come up with a mineral that the Japanese would have.
Of course.
Because we couldn't come up with a real one, so we had to make Sakuradite. Unobtainium. Vibranium. Sakuradite.
So, as we can see here, Nina's feeling very uncomfortable.
Yeah, Nina's like,
it's brown people. Oh no, I'm racist. Oh god. And they go ahead and start to try to rescue the hostages. As Cornelia is leading this charge, because it turns out, oh buddy, who else is here but fucking Euphemia?
Yeah, her sister that she loves dearly. So I think that this was already gone over in the other episodes, but Cornelia adores Yuffie to no end and will do literally anything for her. I think I told Joe this, that I was like, you know that if Euphemia wasn't there, she would have just been like, let these hostages die. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, basically. And they try to go rescue by going into the one place that they can go to get to this hotel, which is like an underground sort of maintenance tunnel. So they send a couple of mechs in there, and when they do, they're like, oh fuck, they got a railgun. As like the Japanese Liberation Front just demolishes them.
Yeah, didn't they say they had transformed a Glasgow into a cannon?
Yeah, basically.
And I'm just like, that is a weird kit bash, but okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it looked fucking rad. I kind of want to make one. So
the question is could you take a Glasgow model and make a cannon out of it?
I feel like you could.
That I think that would be that would be a touch that Gundam would do.
Yeah.
If their model kits did that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, in the anime it was modified into a cannon.
Oh
so
yeah.
Therefore,
here's this P Bandai exclusive that is just a tank for a head.
Yeah.
A gun head, if you will.
Yeah. Well, it's like, no, it's the actual thing.
Yeah.
But you can also put it in a different configuration
Yeah.
that makes it look like a cannon.
Oh
That would have
God.
been fucking hilarious. Anyway, they were just like, nah, this Glasgow's a cannon now. And you're like,
so
checks out.
Yeah, and they're like, maybe we should go ahead and negotiate what with all the hostages and all. And Cordelia's like, I will not negotiate with terrorists.
And then smash cut to
Well,
splat.
Not yet. That happens later on. But so,
not too far later on.
Not too far later on, because we cut to C2, who again is talking to herself, and she's like, I'm not Lelouch's fucking mom. He can take care of himself.
She she changes her mind like 3 times in this season about whether or not she's gonna go protect him or not. It's hilarious.
It's like, he only calls me mommy in bed. I don't need him to call me mommy everywhere else. So, we then also cut to, like, Suzaku and the rest of the sort of experimental team talking about, like, how they're not being part of the operation, because it turns out, like, I'm still Japanese, so they don't really trust me. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, wow, it's almost like the honorary citizen, like, thing is a sham and doesn't actually do anything for any of the Japanese people. Yeah, about that, huh? Like,
it's almost as if there are racists in charge.
God. So
we're not sarcastic at all in this episode, Joe.
So after that, we cut to Zero, who's still watching this, and Colin's like, what are you going to do about this? And he's like, I have a plan, don't worry. And Obi comes in, and he's like, hey, I got these new duds. Like, it seems kind of weird that, like, a resistance group would have this. And he's like, Lelouch is like, we are not a resistance group. We are now Xeon. We are going to drop a colony on Earth.
Oh my God. Again, Joe, that is certainly a conclusion that you came up with.
Listen, it's the same shit. It's the same exact shit. So, Suzaku is talking about, like, I got faith in the system. I got faith in this racist system. It's going to be perfectly fine. As then, we then see one of the hostages being shoved off the building, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Splat.
Oh, God. And the Japanese Liberation Front are like, just admit your systems are broken. And Cordelia is like, never! And
how dare you say that I'm wrong?
And we've cut to the TV crew who's, like, covering this whole thing. And they're like, one of our trucks went missing. And, like, what do you mean one of our trucks went missing? And he's like, the guy just said, like, I don't know what happened. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know what happened? And then we cut to Zero now coming up on the fucking truck and just be like, hey, what's up? I'm here. And Cordelia is like, oh, you came here. Well, I'm busy with my own shit right now. And Zero's like, yeah, I know, your sister's locked up in there. And she's like, who told you? He's like, I can save her, though. And she's like, fine, at least if you're stuck in there, we can kill you anyway. So go ahead, save my sister, I guess. And Lelouch like, of course he's gonna do it on her sister, and we get like a cute little cut of back when Cornelia was just a tiny little Nazi instead of a big Nazi. Just doting over Euphemia because So then Suzaku is then ordered to deploy in the Lancelot with an experimental like VSBR rifle. I say VSBR, but that's like the name of the rifle used by the Gundam F-91. It's basically gun used by the Gundam F-91.
You know.
So they're like, you are going to be basically playing decoy. And he's like, I will gladly do that because I have faith in the system. And they go ahead and launch him because that fucking pose is still so cool. I love the getting ready to like go pose that the Lancelot does every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb. I love it.
It's your aesthetic.
It's my aesthetic. Then we are taken back to the hostages as Nina looks up at the scary brown person and is like, an 11! As, like, the dude is, like, really, really triggered by this, which, same. He's like, I am not an 11, I'm Japanese, and she's just screaming. She's like, oh my god, the brown person's yelling at me! I'm racist! And... you know, the president's just like, leave her alone, she's racist, and he's like, yeah, so correct her. And she's like, fine, like, I'll correct her. And she doesn't actually make, like, Nina say, like, just call him Japanese. It's just, like, they just escalate the situation more and more.
Because she's a racist.
Because she's a racist, and the president and Shirley also don't understand that they're being racist too right now.
Yep.
Like, I get that these are terrorists who are threatening to murder you, but at the same time, like, the only reason why this is happening is because y'all are racist and you're supporting a racist system. So, they're like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and take you and, like, teach you a lesson or whatever, because, the show can't decide whether or not, like, the Japanese should be sympathized with or not, because, again, we are kind of, like, a radically centrist, show, and during this, Euphemia sees this and she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and, like, say something about this, because as I've established before, I'm fatalistic and will throw myself into a bad situation. And they're like, okay, I guess she's the princess. We'll go ahead and take her to our leader. As leader's talking with Zero, and Zero's like, man, you guys ain't cool. And he's like, what do you say? And he's like, I'm just saying that y'all are just like, I want to go ahead and be nice and blah, blah, blah. I want to let people know that Japanese people exist. Of course Japanese people exist. That's not the point. And so we then cut to Euphemia being held outside, and they're like, well, we're going to go ahead and have you talk to him, blah, blah, blah. As the dude's like, enough of your ceaseless whining, Zero, I'm going to kill you. And Zero's like, that before you do that to yourself first. And he just goes ahead and makes the entire room just kill themselves, as everybody comes in like, what the fuck just happened?
He's just like, no, you.
They're like, what happened? And he's like, I just convinced them that they were losers, so they went ahead and just killed themselves.
I mean, it was wild. Like, I just told them that they were all pieces of shit, and they just committed seppuku right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Wild. Anyway, hi.
As Zero's men then start going ahead and kind of seizing the building, he then goes ahead and gets Yuffie in a room, and he's like, you know, he explains the reason why he killed Clovis, because he's like, well, he's basically the son of Lord Britannia. Of course I'm going to kill him.
And speaking of pulls out gun.
Yeah, it's great, because he's like, wow, it's really strange how y'all will only sacrifice your life the moment you personally witness tragedy, but anytime that you are having to confront your own, like, you know, government, which is committing atrocities on the daily, you refuse to actually do anything about that. Like, how about that?
Wild.
And then the Lancelot goes ahead, destroys, like, the railgun thing, as he then comes out from the water and then shoots, like, the base of the hotel and then make it go down so that way they can go rescue the hostages. And it turns out, Zero's like, oh, don't you worry, I thought about this ahead of time. It blows up the fucking building anyway.
He's like, ha-ha! I want the last word on this.
I want the last word, and
I want to be the one that makes the building go kaboomsies.
And Suzaku's like, no, I failed, oh god.
And smoke clears.
As we see a ship just come by, and we see all the hostages, like, perfectly safe and sound, and Zero's like, yeah, of course I saved them, as he's broadcasting this from the TV3 van.
Yeah, but that he stole conveniently so that he could make this whole big worldwide announcement of like, look at me! I saved these Britannians! Kneel before me, bitch. Because
then, he goes ahead and he's like, these are Black Knights. We are here to protect those who do not have means to protect themselves. We are here to go ahead, whether they are Britannian, whether they are Japanese, it doesn't matter. What we are here to do is go ahead and make it so that the powerless do have power. Those who cannot protect themselves, we will protect. Because, fuck you, Dad! Like, That's basically it. It's the counter argument to his dad.
Yeah. Well, and just to round that out, also, Lelouch is nothing if not dramatic.
Yes.
He wants everyone to know what he did. He's kind of like one of those people, those roommates that does the dishes and really wants to flaunt the fact that he did the dishes.
But in this case here, he only wants to do it when it's just specifically to piss off his dad, because he went ahead and just did like the thing with the guy's car and said nothing about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, that was just a little thing. But here, it's like, no, I want Dad to know, fuck you, specifically.
It's kind of like if folding the laundry was nothing to write home about,
yeah.
But the dishes.
What's dishes?
The dishes. Because that was a hot button issue at the roommate meeting. So he wants you to fucking know that he did it for the second time this week. He wants you to fucking know.
He wants you to know. But yeah, so that's where we end episode 8. This one I like a lot more.
Oh yeah, it's kind of funny that it's such like day and night, and I think conveniently we watch them both together, specifically for this podcast. Otherwise, if you were just watching a whole bunch of episodes in a row, or watching them like every other like week or every week when they were coming out, you wouldn't really notice like how high and low that this anime can get. There's quite a few of these episodes that are like, wow, yawn, like the cat chase episode.
Yeah.
And then, the first episode that we talked about here. But the second episode is, like, so good. It actually does a really good job of progressing the storyline, because they're like, hey, we are the knights.
Yeah.
We are the Black Knights. Like, we are going to, defend all those who don't have weapons. And it's like, man, that's a really good way. Like, I really like that.
Yeah.
It's this nice, flashy thing that Lelouch is, like, as Zero is known to do.
Oh, yeah.
He's flashy about it and really, like, makes his statement as he's also doing something kind of nice, but also it's definitely still for his own gain. Like, he would not, I don't think he would have been invested in this hostage situation were it not for his friends being in that room.
I feel like, regardless, he still would have done it, because it is such a suitable way to go ahead and show to the world, like, here's the failings of the Britannians. They couldn't do this, but I did this.
Yeah, well, I just think that, it would not have played out the same. Where the important characters not in the hostage situation, neither party, nor Cornelia or Zero, would have been that interested in the situation.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think because of this, it is that direct response to, like, Lord Britannia's, like, speech at the end of episode 6.
Yeah.
Like, him just being like, they're, like, men are inherently not equal. It's like, those who cannot defend themselves, they have no right living. Mm-hmm. And you see that, like, at the beginning of episode 7, where he's being told by his dad constantly, like, because you could not provide for yourself, you are nothing. And he is here to tell you, like, no, you can be something. Like, not only is not worthless, people who don't have the means to protect themselves, people who are hostages, like, they don't deserve to die because they were in the unfortunate circumstance of being a hostage.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that I don't think it was necessarily that well articulated, but I believe also the idea, it was kind of briefly mentioned in that first episode that if Lelouch wanted to stay in the running for the throne, he would have also had to discard Nunnally as well.
Yeah.
Like his dad was doing. Because, she's worthless now. She did this to herself by being the victim of trauma.
Yeah.
And being, losing her vision and losing her mobility. It's her fault. And, if Lelouch were to, want to stay in line for the throne, he would have had to discard her.
Yeah.
And, that goes against all of Lelouch's ideologies.
Yeah.
It is very much like the first episode didn't do that great of a justice of this concept, but the second episode definitely does have the concept of, Lelouch bringing his ideologies into Zero.
Yeah.
And, really, like, honing in on his ethics.
Yeah.
His ethics are that he is for the people and not necessarily, for everyone, but just for the civilians and the people without weapons. And, you'll kind of see that he kind of does have that sense of discrimination when it comes to the people that he treats well are the people who don't have the ability to defend themselves. But he's also, he's very much an all cops are bastards kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you have a weapon, therefore I don't care if I end up killing you in the process.
I like his statement on this. It's like, those who kill should be the ones who are prepared to be killed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is, like, his whole philosophy on this. Is like, if you pick up a weapon, you know what that means.
Yeah.
So, therefore, if you're going to go ahead and actually do this, you best be prepared to go ahead and die on the battlefield, too.
Yeah. And that's very much the, this kind of idea of, like, the ACAB kind of mentality is, like, these people picked this lifestyle. And I think Zero also lives to that. He also lives this idea of, I am also one of those people.
Yeah.
I picked up the weapon. I'm accepting that responsibility, which is admirable because I think that's probably one thing that separates him from other similar protagonists.
Yeah.
Is, similar protagonists in a similar vein would be like, no, I'm the good guy.
I'm too important to die.
Yeah. I think that it's not important right now, but it will be in the future to note that Lush sticks to his ideologies.
Yeah.
That people who hold these kinds of position of power should be prepared to suffer the consequences of it.
And should be prepared to sacrifice themselves for the good of the people.
Yeah, but innocent civilians shouldn't have to live like that.
Yeah.
People who are not capable of defending themselves should not have to fear of defending themselves against something they can't defend themselves against. For instance, an innocent civilian being held at gunpoint for no reason shouldn't have, that shouldn't be a case. An innocent civilian should not have to live that on a daily basis.
Right.
Especially like the 11s do, and you see countless times through this season.
Yeah, so overall, I feel like, whereas like the episode 7 felt like the beginning of a sentence, episode 8 felt more like a period.
Yes.
Like, it was a very long sentence, but it felt like that was what they were trying to say.
Yeah, it's almost as if, like, we had said at one point, near the beginning of this podcast series, that, like, this anime would have benefited from being hour-long movies.
Yeah.
It's almost as if Aikido was also proof of that.
Yeah.
That these two episodes would have greatly benefited from being combined together into an hour-long piece.
Yeah.
It's almost as if we have this same running thread of thought.
We do.
It's like, because it's exactly like you said. Episode 7 was very much like the beginning of a sentence. It was the subject.
Yeah.
And it needed a predicate.
Yes.
And episode 8 was very much the predicate that it needed. And were these two episodes combined together with a little bit different story arc running through them, you could have had that, A and B plot arc going through it.
Right.
I think it would have benefited greatly. Instead of being this ebb and flow of good episode, mediocre episode, good episode, mediocre episode.
Yeah.
Code Geass could have really, really, benefited from that hour-long
After
premise.
this, we do really need to watch the compilation movies. Like, I wonder if it does a good job of actually, smashing these things together in order to make, something a little bit more coherent and something that's, sort of keeping this theming throughout it.
We do need to watch those.
Yeah.
Because, Aikido was very much what we were looking for in a Code Geass series. However, I will say that, I would also be, because I was about, the compilation movies when it came to something like Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Yeah.
because it does a really good job of kind of condensing and taking out all of the gummy, fluffy bits.
Yeah.
However, I'm already anticipating that is not the same with Code Geass, because Aikido literally had episode 3 was literally just a filler episode. It was an hour-long filler episode.
It sure was.
And it fucking sucked.
So, okay. I feel like that about covers it for these episodes of Code Geass.
Yes.
So, we'll go ahead and then switch topics here, and let's go ahead and talk about what the hell we've been up to outside of Code Geass. So, what you been up to there, Em?
I think we can both agree that what we've been up to the last week and a half at least has been hellacious work conditions and being under the weather / sick and dealing with a sick cat. That has been the last week and a half to 2 weeks.
Yep.
So yeah, we don't really need to go over capitalism sucks. Jobs currently are a little bit on the rough side. And because we live in Florida and the weather, particularly in June and early July, tends to be rampantly unpredictable, it tends to wreak havoc on bodily functions as well.
It sure does.
So we have both been, just cruddy. And our cat has been feeling that way too.
Yeah.
So Diamond we kind of noticed, well, I guess I should start from the beginning, in that when we adopted him, we figured that he was tested for everything and he had been given all of his proper vaccines because we got him from an organization. I guess, mind you, we weren't really concerned with how reputable the organization was, but they were technically a non-profit organization that was rescuing cats, so we figured it was fine, and they would do the due diligence that they should have. But, early on, he was sneezing a lot and stuff like that. So we took him to a vet. It was a vet recommended by the organization. And the vet was kind of like, oh, he's fine. Sometimes cats just sneeze a lot. And that was kind of the main part of that visit. Because I also hadn't gotten the vet records yet. And then when I finally got the vet records, I looked it over and I realized that there were a few key missing things as far as his vet records went.
Such as?
He was not microchipped.
Nope.
And he was not given a proper snap test. So anyone who doesn't raise cats, there's a test that would test for FELV, which is feline leukemia virus, FIV, or feline immunodeficient virus.
Yeah.
And also, the snap test particularly also tests for heartworms as well, which is also a serious condition. So he was never tested for any of these. He was not microchipped, and we were, to say the least, a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
But, I had been told that, oh, it's fine, don't worry about that. But, we were also just like, well, we do know that we'll go get him microchipped.
Yeah.
Because, any good parent, any good, cat or dog parent knows that microchipping is just a very good just in case. Collars come off, cats get lost. And, you just want to ensure that should something happen, should a worst case scenario happen, you have the greatest chance of your cat being returned to you and going back to living a normal life.
Yeah.
So we knew we were going to do that. But then, starting last week, Diamond started sneezing even more.
Even more, yeah.
Even more. He was looking real cruddy. And we were like, yeah, this is not okay. The vet was just like, it's fine, don't worry about it. Cats sneeze all the time. But this was not a cat sneeze all the time. This was this sounds bad.
So we took him to the vet there, and...
we took him to a new vet. We'll specify that. We took him to Banfield. I was trying to support local vets and not go with the big corporation vet. However, local vets are too expensive, and I had good reviews for Banfield. So we took him to the Banfield near us.
Yep.
And I was very glad that I had also looked up reviews because, we had a very good vet and some very nice vet techs with us. I think it was a pretty good experience, right?
It was a very good experience.
They were all so kind and, really knew what they were doing. And, yeah, they were basically like, yeah, nope, this is an upper respiratory infection. This is totally... And she also was like, man, you guys, caught this early. That's a good thing. Because, yeah, we were like, he's sneezing a lot. And the other vet said this is fine, but this is not fine.
This is not fine.
So, yeah, she was like, yeah, we'll get some antibiotics for him. And, they were also looking over the paperwork, and we also pointed out that, he hadn't been tested for any of these things that we had mentioned. And she's like, yeah, no, let's do that. He was a stray, and he lost, and we've specified this before, he's a one-eyed cat. He lost his eye when he was a stray, basically. So, she was like, yeah, this is inexcusable. You need to be tested for this.
Yeah.
So, they took him into the back. We got the microchip on him. Got the microchip on him. We got a snap test for him and started antibiotics and got him some ear cleaning on top of all of that.
Yeah. So, he's doing better now.
Yeah. Much better.
So, that's good. But, yeah, that's kind of been our week. So, it's been a week. It really has been.
Yeah.
As for me, I went over this earlier in the podcast. Watching Vinland Saga, watching Fire Force, played Hardcore Mecha. The other thing I've been kind of doing in the background there is watching the televised version of Gundam The Origin, which you like too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the story of Char Aznavour.
Of our little baby gay boy becoming a radicalized man.
It's so good. The art style,
it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
I love the way that they animate Char. And his snarky, smug expressions.
Just all the time. He just looks like the cat who ate the canary every single time.
Absolutely. I enjoyed the way that it also dealt with the whole actual Char Aznavour meeting.
Yeah.
And so spoiler alert, is this cool?
Yeah.
Char Aznavour's name isn't actually Char Aznavour.
It's Casval Xianzun Daikun.
Yeah, which he gets a million different names throughout this because he had to go undercover and stuff like that and got adopted. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But at one point, they ran into actual Char Aznavour, who looks almost exactly like him.
Yeah.
Except he has red eyes. And this Char Aznavour is very, proud, noble boy who's, gonna go off to war and, gonna go off to military school.
I'm gonna become a socialist.
Yeah. Well, not a socialist, but, he's very boastful, and so, our Char and his sister just, I don't like this guy. He's kind of a prick.
Okay.
But it's fine, because eventually, Char knew
that they were going to try and murder, actual Casval.
Yeah, they were going to murder Casval, and so he's like, I'll join Char. I'll go with him to go to this military school,
Yeah.
And so they're they're trying to get on this plane, and shenanigans happen, and Casval's like, Yo, Char, I'll take your place. Don't worry about it. I'll take the fall for this, and you can get on that plane.
Yeah, and then the plane fucking blows up because Char knew.
Because Casval knew.
Because Casval knew. It's great. Gundam, it's so.
That's how Casval became Char Aznavour.
Yep.
And that's why he wears sunglasses, because he hides the fact that he doesn't have the right eye color. And that's literally the origin story for Char Aznavour, and I fucking love it, because it's just so stupid.
Oh, it gets better. It gets so much better. Because this is basically, the birth of, Char. I've never portrayed anybody Aznavour.
I have never done anything wrong ever in my life.
I've
never been implicit in someone's murder.
He never says that. He says, I've never betrayed anyone. Never in his life has he ever betrayed anybody.
Well, the Char Aznable has never betrayed anyone. Hasval, on the other hand...
Hasval, though.
Hasval is a betraying motherfucker. But that guy's dead.
That guy's dead. He died on that plane there. It's so good. It's so good. I highly recommend it. It's a good starting on point for Gundam, and it does endear you a lot more to Char as a character.
Oh yeah, it really brings forward the conditions that he was raised in, and how that develops this snarky personality that is just rampant through the entirety of the Gundam series.
It's so good.
It will not die.
But yeah, this is also just kind of like part of a bigger push by Sunrise and Bandai to go ahead and just bring Gundam to the States. And I'm hoping...
We're about it.
What?
We're about it.
We are so about it, because I'm hoping with this that it does mean that they start streaming the original Gundam series. Because the original 1979 series, I've seen a few episodes here and there now, after a hot minute of not watching them. And I'm just like, oh, that's right, this is actually good.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting this.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely something that is... an actual movement that it's gonna work, because right now we're actually seeing a lot of mecha anime and video games start to come out more and more and take a little bit more press time.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing the distributors of Gundam on stateside, Bluefin, gain a lot of traction, especially on the convention side of things.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone's been to a major convention recently, you've probably seen the Bluefin booth. It's actually big. They put up a whole, setup. And they also were setting up, especially at MegaCon, and I'm sure that at every other major convention that they've been to, they've been setting up these, Gunpla building stations. And I think that's the thing, is, it's definitely, Sunrise and Bandai and Bluefin are all in on some kind of initiative to, get Gundam and Gunpla more popular. And we're seeing the effects of it. You're seeing it media-wise, Joe, and I'm seeing it on the convention floor-wise. It's a thing that's actually happening.
And it's great, because I know part of it is also because with the live-action movie coming out, of course, now they're partnering up with Legendary. They need to get, traction going here.
Yeah, I think that's also, that's got to be a big push to it. It's they got a little bit of this little hint of it in Ready Player One that got people weirdly excited about, the RX-78.
It even got me excited about it, and I hate Ready Player One.
But even people who, aren't Gundam or Gunpla people still got, weirdly excited and nostalgic about RX-78 being in that movie, that I think a lot of people were just, and especially people at Bluefin and Sunrise and Bandai are we could make this a thing. There's an inkling there that we can profit off of. And clearly this is for profit purposes.
Yeah.
But I guess to say we're not knocking it, because it was about damn time.
It was about damn time, because now we're also this is kind of a preamble before this happens. Next month, Joe's getting into gacha games, because they are bringing Gundam Battle, Gunpla Assault, which is basically Gundam Breaker Mobile. They don't want to use the Gundam Breaker name because they salted the earth with New Gundam Breaker because it was such a bad game. But yeah, it's a fucking mobile game where you go ahead, you make your own Gunpla in this mobile game, and I'm guessing you're going to pay actual money in order to play the gacha system to see if you can get a fake plastic arm or plastic head or plastic legs. And
join me, Joe. Join me in the gacha world.
I'm going to be in gacha hell is what's going to happen, and they are going to force me to spend money to get my Sinanju. I'm sorry, coerce me. They're going to coerce me to get the Sinanju.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
I have a wild question.
Okay.
I want this to be recorded for audio purposes.
Okay.
You remember when, this might have been a year and a half ago, that I said that we were going to see how much money you spent on Gunpla?
Oh, no.
And then we were gonna compare, we were gonna add that up, and when it finally got to the same amount of money that one smart doll was...
Oh, fuck you!
That I was gonna buy a smart doll. Does this count?
No, it doesn't count because it's fake.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Anyway, if anyone's listening to this and wants to input, does a Gunpla Gacha mobile game count?
Oh...
count towards this number, because I want a smart doll now.
I'm not stopping you from getting a smart doll. Those things are rad, and especially now that they're doing kits, which I want to get. I want to get a kit of a smart doll. Like,
can we talk about that for a second?
Actually, yeah, let's talk about that. We're going over it. It's fine.
Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't spoken to us in depth about our Japan trip and knew about this already, smart doll is a thing that I'm obsessed with. I've always liked ball-jointed dolls and, fashion dolls as, just, kind of a hobby that I would someday get just a little bit more into. I just find the community to be very overwhelmingly, cool and positive, and, the dolls themselves are awesome, and so... there is a type of ball-jointed or, fashion doll called the smart doll. And I love smart dolls. They are based in Japan, and they're basically little anime waifus. And they're beautiful and perfect, and I love them in every way. And they are actually made by someone by the name of Danny Chu. Who is the son of Jimmy Chu.
Yes, Jimmy Chu.
That Jimmy Chu. Jimmy Chu had a son who got into anime, moved from the UK to Japan to open up a store where he sells anime waifus. And also anime husbandos, because he's now making
Lelouch. Yeah.
And Suzaku smart dolls, which I will totally invest in a Lelouch smart doll at some point in my life.
Oh, yeah.
So, we did end up going to Japan, we actually got to meet Danny Chu, and we got to, see the smart doll studio, and it's rad, and I'm looking to buying one shortly, and, just kind of starting to save up some money here and there. But I also had made this joke that at some point when Joe bought enough Gunpla to equal about $500 worth, I was going to buy a smart doll, and I think we've exceeded that. I'm gonna say
easily with our Japan trip. That pushed us at 300. You realize that, right?
Yeah, but so we're maybe at about estimating 350.
Oh, no, more than that.
More than that, 400?
We have broken 500 easily already. I can admit that. I can admit that.
I want you to say it. You have spent $500 on plastic model kits.
Including the materials to make those.
Say it.
I've spent $500 on plastic model kits.
Thank you.
God, fuck you. Anyway, Mayo, where can we find you on the internet so we can go ahead and bully you?
Fuck you. You can find me at myelacology on Instagram and Twitter, but mostly Instagram and sometimes Facebook, or not,
Twitter.
YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I should get on Twitch more. I want to stream more Twitch things. I just been busy. You can also find our son at _DiamondCat.
And yeah, then you can just go ahead and follow him on the Instagrams, on the gram. That's what the cool kids call it.
Yeah, that gram. Of course I made an Instagram account for my cat. Because I love Diamond.
And as for me, you can find me at Just Joestar on most major platforms. Twitch, I gotta get back into streaming because I have games and that will probably be the motivator to actually start finishing games.
Big mood.
Rather than just like buying new ones, which probably I'll be playing Dragon Quest Builders 2 once I get my paycheck this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I would love to stream that game and play as Pink Goku. I'm very excited to play as Pink Goku.
Oh god, I hope my paycheck on Wednesday.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It better be great after what I have been through over the last 2 weeks. Swear to God.
And then, of course, on Twitter, I sometimes tweet. I do bad tweets about my opinions about video games, and also sometimes go ahead and post some model kits. But I mostly post model kits on Instagram, on Just Joestar. So, yeah, you can go ahead and find me there, and it's Joe, as in J-O, just Joe Star. Fuck you. So, yeah, with that being said, this concludes our little anime podcast. So, as always, feed the poor, eat the rich.
Hey, you got it right this time.
I did!
Good night, everyone.